The episode Mall Girl Pearl from season 9 has a bunch of really cool Easter eggs. In this one, Pearl Krabs is determined to snag her first job at the Bikini Bottom Mall, a mission that turns into a chaotic tour of the mall in hidden SpongeBob lore. As Pearl bounces between stores trying to get hired, the background fills up with familiar faces and references for longtime fans. For example, as Pearl passes by Scorched Coral, this store right here, keep an eye out for the Diggery-Doo player from the season 2 episode Something Smells. If you're wondering who the heck I'm talking about, it's this character right here.
Hi, Tambourine Girl. Hi, Timbali Man. Hi, Didgeridoo Player.
It's been like 20 years since we've seen this character. That all changed in Mall Girl Pearl. The character would also pop up in the season 13 episode Sea Urchin and Snail Fail during this scene, making his second appearance in like 20 plus years.
Look at all those people.
I know he seems like a random background SpongeBob character, but he's a very rare character. Heading back over to Mall Girl Pearl, there's other random characters that pop up in the background that we have not seen in a long time. Other rare characters. For example, Carl, the overzealous manager from the episode Selling Out.
Hi gentlemen, I'm Carl. I'll be your new manager.
New manager?
I think you'll find working at the Krabby Mondays to be both a learning experience and an enjoyable one.
Yeah, that guy right there, he's spotted twice at the mall. Once outside the Bangles and Dangles store, and later in the food court right here. Carl's cameos nod to his infamous stint running Krabby Mondays in season 4, so it's pretty cool to see him pop up again, even though it's also very random. But there's more. At one point, we see this graffiti door during the fight between Pearl's bullies and the crazy grandmother. As we can see right here, we can see Squidward smells and Krabs is a blank, a direct throwback to this scene from the SpongeBob episode Sailor Mouth.
Squidward smells. Good. Krabs is,
Do you kiss your mother with that mouth?
well, sometimes, but not recently.
Even SpongeBob himself only shows up in a blink and you'll miss it moment. He has just 3 quick cameos, which is kind of crazy that he was making cameos in his own show, but I guess it makes sense. This episode is all about Pearl. And there's more background cameos as well, by the way. If we look over here, we can see Mermaid Man, Barnacle Boy. If we head over to this scene, we can see Bubble Buddy. And if we take a look right here, we can find the health inspector from the iconic episode Nasty Patty.
I'm going to need you to bring me one of everything on the menu.
Excellent choice, my darling. Coming right up.
Whoever wrote this episode definitely knows their SpongeBob lore, because it's really cool to see all of these characters that we have not seen in a long time popping up. Next up is an episode filled to the brim with Easter eggs, and that's Plankton Gets the Boot from season 10. After an argument with Karen, he insulted her screensaver. Plankton finds himself kicked out of his own house, and throughout this episode we see him couch surfing at SpongeBob's place, which is kind of crazy, you know, like Plankton's tried to do a lot of crazy stuff to SpongeBob. Like one time he literally invaded his body and controlled him like a robot, but SpongeBob doesn't care, he's a chill guy, and still lets him sleep over. Now this is where the Easter eggs come in, as during this scene right here where the pair are eating popcorn, dude, there's like 15 plus Easter eggs in this one scene, so let's dive into all of them. First things first, who remembers Whirly Brains? SpongeBob and Patrick buy these things at the Bikini Bottom toy shop after watching an advertisement in that same episode, Whirly Brains, and it's usually used to play pranks on other Bikini Bottomites.
Found him.
Yep, that's him. Hi, Squidward.
Well, if we look at that shot from Plankton Gets the Boot, they're right here. We can also see Pretzel Pals, which is another cool reference. It actually references the episode Buried in Time, specifically this scene right here. Roll the clip.
It's our favorite game. Pretzel Pals.
Also, if we rewind to the episode Have You Seen This Snail, there was this Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy paddle ball set. Well, it reappears years later in that same shot from Plankton Gets the Boot. And there's more. If you guys remember, there was an episode in the past where Patrick makes his own board game. It was called Patrick the Game.
Welcome, gamers, and behold, my game.
It's beautiful.
Well, Patrick the Game appears in this episode right here. And there's some more board games. For example, if we go back to the episode Arg, Mr. Krabs played this board game right here.
The Flying Dutchman's Treasure Hunt.
Based on a real treasure map.
This right here is the Flying Dutchman's treasure hunt, and it seems that the writers haven't forgotten about it because it's right here and Plankton gets the boot. And you guys may have noticed eels and escalators right here, which needs no introduction. This board game is iconic, and if you're a SpongeBob fan, you know exactly where it's from. But let's keep it moving, there's more. We can see this Mermaid Man action figure right here, which also appeared in the episode Mermaid Man vs. SpongeBob in this scene, and in the episode Toy Store of Doom. And we're still not done yet. There's the Pin the Tail on the Seahorse, which, to refresh your memory, is from this scene in the episode Opposite Day.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday cake! Happy birthday! Pin the tail on the seahorse!
It also appeared in the episode Party Pooper Pants right here as well. So really cool to see it appearing in Plankton Gets the Boot. If we look over here, we'll see Rocky Road, which made its original appearance in Goodbye Krabby Patty. But more importantly, if we look over here, guys, there's a Krusty Krab pizza, which references the iconic episode Pizza Delivery. And for those who don't know, it also appeared in this scene in the episode I Heart Dancing. We're close, but we're not done yet. If we look over here, we can see a certain set of balloons. They're kind of spread out throughout the room. The F is over here, the N is over here, and then the U is over here. And of course, guys, this is referencing the episode Fun. That is a lot of Easter eggs in one scene, guys. Like, whoever wrote this episode is a major fan, maybe even a bigger fan than me. You know what's crazy though, guys? There's even more Easter eggs in later scenes. For example, during SpongeBob's makeover sequence, he dresses Plankton up with various props. But more importantly, if we look at SpongeBob's outfit, it's actually something we've seen before. It seems to be a recolored version of the exact outfit he wore while on a pretend date with Squidward in Love That Squid.
Sometime today would be nice.
I'm ready!
Nap time.
Missed the spot.
Here's a side-by-side, and this one I guess is a little bit more of a reach. Like, I guess you could argue that they just reused the design and it's not intended to be an Easter egg, but who knows? And to be honest, considering the fact that there's like 15 plus other Easter eggs in this episode, I do think that this was intentional, who knows? But there's even more. When SpongeBob scans Plankton's body composition with a high-tech analyzer, the readout seems to mirror a scene from Plankton's very first appearance back in the episode Plankton.
Plankton, 1% evil, 99% hot gas.
In this episode, Midnight Snack Attack, Plankton schemes to turn his fellow campers into mindless mutants with a secret midnight snack experiment. The mini-villain imagines using the campers as the first step in a quest for world domination, but it's the tongue-in-cheek references that truly feed fans. Early on, Plankton monologues about his plan, with him saying the following.
First, I'll take over this camp and then go to college, get my bachelor's degree in world domination science, and then take over the world!
This is a hilarious over-the-top line that riffs on classic cartoon villains, but also winks at Plankton's own academic pretensions. Karen dryly suggests he might need a certain secret formula to succeed, prompting Plankton to scoff, "Secret formula? Don't be ridiculous."
There must be some simple way to world domination. Maybe an equation, a theory.
A secret formula?
Secret formula? Don't be ridiculous.
I think the reference here is pretty clear. As you guys know, in regular SpongeBob, like the original SpongeBob SquarePants show, Plankton's #1 goal is to get the Krabby Patty secret formula. And this is a clear reference to that. What's really funny here is Plankton doesn't even know it yet. He doesn't know that that's his life goal. I'm sure if future Plankton could hear younger Plankton saying this, he'd give him a good schmack in the head. And there's actually more when it comes to this episode. Another interesting Easter egg that, to be honest with you, at first I was like, is this actually an Easter egg? But it is if you really think about it. So if we go to the movie, we can see that Plankton has this filing cabinet right here, which is kind of why I wasn't going to include this one. Like, it's just a random file cabinet, but there is some good continuity here, because if you look in Midnight Snack Attack, when we look at Plankton's laboratory in this episode, look, the same filing cabinet appears right here. And yeah, it's the same thing. So I guess this is a reference. I don't know if it was actually intentional, but it's a reference. Normally I find a lot of these Easter eggs myself. This one's from the wiki, so if you don't agree with it, blame the wiki. But also, I love the SpongeBob wiki. Shout out to the moderators. In Season 12 Swamp Mates, Patrick and Bubble Bass get lost in a murky kelp swamp during a playdate gone wrong. Now, before we get into the Easter eggs, I actually want to talk about a deleted scene for this episode. Originally, there was supposed to be a scene where Bubble Bass and Patrick were sucked on by leeches. More specifically, their butts. As his butt was getting sucked on, Bubble Bass was going to say, "Leeches, my cheeks, I'm nothing without my bubbly orbs." However, it was revealed that this scene was eventually cut. There are the images of it that I've been showing, especially this one right here, where they're literally sucking his butt. The joke isn't really inappropriate, but I can understand why it was cut considering it is a kid's show. Here's a couple more fun facts before we get into the Easter eggs for this one, because there's some interesting stuff here. For one, have you guys ever wondered how old Bubble Bass is? Well, it's confirmed in this episode during this clip right here.
So your mother has scheduled a play date for you.
I'm not 23 anymore, Mother. You'll just have to cancel it.
Well, if Bubble Bass isn't 23, then that means he's 24. So yeah, if you've ever wondered his age, yeah, he's 24. He kind of reminds me of myself, a grown man collecting collectibles and liking nerd stuff. But okay, Easter eggs, and here's the first one. If we go back years in the past to Season 3, there was the episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5. And this episode's really cool because it's like an Avengers-style SpongeBob episode, where SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, and Sandy team up with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy to form an Avengers-style team, with them each getting their own superhero moniker. SpongeBob is the Quickster, Sandy is Miss Appear, she can turn invisible, Squidward is Captain Magma, and Patrick is the Elastic Waistband. Together, they're the International Justice League of Super Acquaintances, and they report to the Chief, this guy right here.
Our sources last saw Evil harassing teenagers up at Makeout Reef. You know, Makeout Reef?
Now, we haven't seen this wacky character for a long time. He really only appeared in this episode. But this all changed in Swamp Mates, with Martin Olsen reprising his role and making his first appearance in like 20 plus years. It's also worth noting that if you look on his desk, there's a bunch of like fake SpongeBob toys or altered or bootleg SpongeBob toys. And this is for a reason. This is due to FCC regulations prohibiting the advertisement of merchandise related to a children's program within or during the same programming block as that program, which makes sense. It basically means that you can't advertise other SpongeBob toys or merchandise while the show is actively airing. But yeah, if we look at his desk, we can see a bootleg SpongeBob piggy bank or coin bank, a fake version of the original SpongeBob Funko Pop, and 2 other fake figures of unknown origin. Let's keep it moving though with more Easter eggs from this same episode. And to do that, we have to rewind back to the episode Goons on the Moon. In this episode, we were introduced to the action dog figure, the teenage action boy figure, and the teenage action girl action figures. Now, we haven't seen them since Goons on the Moon, and they seem to be pretty rare collectibles. And it seems that they're referenced in Swamp Mates, as look, right here, we can see all 3 figures. Really pushing the point that Bubble Bass is a major dork. If you guys could see my bedroom, I'm very similar to Bubble Bass. But let's keep it going even more, as during Bubble Bass's imaginative description of him capturing Man Ray, for one, it shows that Man Ray is a member of Evil, another reference to the episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5. Like I said, in that episode, SpongeBob, Sandy, and the crew, they form their own Avengers Justice League style group. But so do all of the villains, with them forming Evil, which, as you guys should know, stands for every villain is lemons. I mean, come on. But there's more. For one, it also says that Man Ray is allergic to tartar sauce, and this is actually a fact. If we go back to the episode, Back to the Past, we can see that this is a fact.
Now prepare for a heaping helping of quick-drying tartar sauce.
And last but not least, it also shows that Man Ray hates the tickle belt, and this is another direct reference, this time to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3. More specifically, this hilarious scene where Man Ray just cannot stop laughing.
Frequency rising! Belt out of control! Belt is too high! Tickling my DNA! Make it stop!
Next up is Hot Pearl Tato, another episode from Camp Coral. When a baby pearl crabs shows up at Camp Coral, SpongeBob and friends struggle to babysit the mighty infant. I mean, considering how much of a pain Pearl is like in regular SpongeBob, just imagine like baby Pearl. This girl one time almost flooded the entire Krusty Krab because she couldn't find a date to prom.
Here, take SpongeBob.
The fry cook? Do you know what that would do to my complexion? People will mistake me for a planetarium.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
So just imagine a baby version of her, oh my god. As I expected, she's a handful, crawling off into the woods, which leads to some wild encounters with mythical camp critters. In one scene, SpongeBob's camp buddies, Bubble Bass, Kevin, and Harvey, break out a board game called Escape from Mom's Basement. This hilarious fictional game is a wink at adult Bubble Bass's well-known living situation. I mean, also here's a side-by-side, as this game, Escape from Mom's Basement, basically looks exactly like adult Bubble Bass's actual setup in his mom's basement. And yeah, this is definitely the writers having a little bit of fun here. Later on in the episode, as SpongeBob and Squidward chase baby Pearl through the kelp forest, they bounce off a slumbering giant creature. And this thing should be familiar to you guys. It's a sea moose, also known as a moose snail. Now, eagle-eyed fans may recognize this beast, as it first appeared in the main series episode, A Cabin in the Kelp, blocking the Gal Pals road trip. Seeing it here marks the creature's return, now in a CG form, as it swats at SpongeBob and Squidward until Pearl shows off her inherited strength. The episode even brings in a campfire legend, a sea bear. And for those of you who don't know, the sea bear first appeared in the episode, the camping episode.
Maybe it's because you're not wearing your sombrero in a goofy fashion.
You mean like this?
No, like that.
It's had a few brief appearances since then, but its main role has been in the camping episode from season 3 where it beats up Squidward, so it appearing here is definitely some sort of reference. So yeah, lots of interesting Easter eggs in this episode, and let's keep it moving. Let's talk about the episode Unreal Estate next. It's from season 10. In this one, Squidward tricks SpongeBob into thinking his pineapple house is dangerous to live in, hoping SpongeBob will move away. Well, as SpongeBob daydreams about new homes, the episode pays homage to SpongeBob's history in many subtle ways. Right from the title card, Unreal Estate telegraphs a hidden gag, with its background art being pretty much the same as another episode's background art, Sentimental Sponge. Both cards share a bold, colorful geometric pattern. The only difference is the color, with it being pink in Unreal Estate and yellow or orange in Sentimental Sponge. And while it's possible that they may have just reused the asset, SpongeBob writers and producers and artists in the past have done this, where they use a similar piece of art in the title card to pay homage to an older episode. I am rambling though, and this one definitely sounds like a little bit of a reach, but let's head over to more interesting Easter eggs. Next up is Insecurity guards. In this one, SpongeBob and Patrick become watchmen at the Bikini Bottom Museum of Everything, and their security antics wreak havoc on the exhibits. But throughout all the museum chaos, a refined figure from SpongeBob's past is hiding in plain sight. If we look at this one scene early on, the camera pans across a crowd of museum goers. And if you're a true SpongeBob fan, you should be able to catch who's in this shot. Roll the footage.
Now, rule number 1 of guarding is don't let visitors touch stuff.
No touchy, no feely. Aye, aye.
For those of you who don't know or missed it, this guy right here is Monty P. Moneybags. And if we rewind all the way back to season 2, there was the episode Artist Unknown. Monty P. Moneybags is a wealthy art collector, and Squidward wants to impress him. But as you guys can imagine, this does not go very well.
Good day, sir. My name is Monty P. Moneybags, the world-famous art collector. You want to know me? I'm on a shopping spree, buying art for my new museum. Your search is over. How about this one? I call it bold and brash. More like belongs in the trash.
Sorry, I must have missed that one.
Auntie Moneybags hasn't appeared in an episode in like 20 plus years. His last and only appearance was back in 2001's Artist Unknown. So to see him again in season 12, silently touring a museum as a background character is a deep cut Easter egg that really caught my attention. And there's more. If we head back to the 2004 SpongeBob SquarePants movie, we were introduced to this version of King Neptune. And as you guys know, his crown was a major aspect of that episode, with it hiding his baldness. This thing was very important to him, but it seems that even years later, it's still missing as a look.
Hey, Patrick, I think that guy's trying to
touch that painting!
If we pause right here, we can see that it's still missing, and it can be found in the museum as one of the things that the robbers stole. This is a really cool Easter egg. I mean, that movie came out in 2004, so considering that this episode came out in 2019, it shows that the writers were really paying attention. Also, a fun fact, in this episode we were introduced to this painting right here, and we would not see it for a long time after this. It seemed that originally it was going to be exclusive to this episode, Insecurity guards. But if we fast forward years later to the Camp Coral episode, Revolution, it actually appears in this scene right here.
No one wakes us up like you, and I should know. I'm your biggest fan. Yeah, I go. I have all your albums.
Here's a side-by-side, and that's definitely the same painting, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. On top of that painting, there's a couple of other paintings in this episode that seem to be references. For example, this one painting here with Mr. Krabs and the Krabby Patty, it's actually a reference to The Creation of Adam, a painting made by Italian artist Michelangelo.
What you doing?
I'm cleaning centuries of dirt from this priceless painting.
Going too slow.
I think I know how we can speed things along.
Or there's also this painting with Mrs. Puff right here, and it's actually a reference to the Mona Lisa, obviously, one of the most famous paintings ever. And there's actually a bunch of other cool references throughout this episode to famous statues and paintings, but we can't cover them all. So let's head over to another episode with more Easter eggs. It's stand-up comedy night in our next episode at Camp Coral, with a legendary joke-telling sea kraken, the Wise Kraken, headlining a show for the campers. This episode, Wise Kraken, doubles as a tribute to SpongeBob's comedic past, both in content and in cheeky references. For one, the outdoor comedy venue is dubbed the Comedy Canteen, which immediately rings a bell, at least for me. It seems to be a sly spin on the comedy crab from the classic SpongeBob episode Squirrel Jokes. In that episode, Mr. Krabs briefly turned the Krusty Krab into a comedy club called the Comedy Crab.
Okay, everybody settle down. Welcome to the Comedy Crab.
Here at camp, the Comedy Canteen serves as a similar role. There's a bunch of other similarities between the Comedy Canteen and the Comedy Crab, and it's been theorized that originally it was supposed to be the Comedy Crab. However, I think that the writers forgot that this is a prequel show and that the Comedy Crab wouldn't have existed yet technically. So they had to do a swap and turn it into the Comedy Canteen. This is something I've read on Reddit, but I don't know if this is actually true or not. And to be honest with you, it sounds like a stupid fan theory, so. But before we move on to another episode, here's a fun fact about this one. So as you guys know, Lady Upturn recently has become more of a regular character on the show. She originally was like a one-off character, but since Camp Coral, even in regular SpongeBob like season 13, season 14, 15, and 16, Lady Upturn is in a ton of episodes. There are some episodes where she's like a prominent character, and sometimes she's even the antagonist. And it all started with this episode, as this is the one that introduced her main catchphrase, I am offended.
Why did that sea captain flush the toilet?
Why?
Because it was its duty!
I am offended! Oh!
It's not that big of a deal, but it's cool to see that this is where the catchphrase originated from. The episode Hog Huntin' follows SpongeBob and Patrick on a wild countryside adventure, tracking down Old Man Jakin's prized wormhog, a pig-like critter, after it goes missing.
You keep your hands off my beautiful Beulah!
I wasn't touching her, I was just, admiring her beauty.
Meow.
This episode dives into a ton of good humor. It plays into the whole countryman stereotype. Think barnyards, beards, and backwoods shenanigans pretty much. It's a good episode. But it also hides a couple of clever pop culture parodies. One of the first gags comes when SpongeBob stumbles on Old Man Jenkins watching his favorite soap opera, Days of Our Styes. For those of you who don't know, this title is a really funny little goof referencing the long-running soap opera, Days of Our Lives. The show's writers are clearly winking at the audience here. Bikini Bottom has its own version of Days of Our Lives, only with hogs instead of people. And if that sounds familiar, it's because SpongeBob has spoofed this exact soap opera before in the episode Wary Gary. This one is a snail-focused drama called Snails of Our Lives, played on TV as a pet parody of the same series. Later in this episode, Hog Huntin' treats us to a musical Easter egg that's perfectly in tune with the episode's country western vibe. SpongeBob and Patrick end up literally living in Old Man Jenkins' enormous beard for a while. Long story short, hiding from an angry Jenkins after a failed hog catching attempt. During their cozy exile in his facial hair, and sings a delightful ditty titled Home in a Beard. Take a listen, but we can't play it for too long because I'm not trying to get destroyed by copyright.
Home in a beard, where the whiskers and stubble are weird.
If the melody and theme sound old-timey to you, that's by design. Home in a Beard is a direct parody of the classic American folk song Home on the Range. The original 1972 song famously yearns for life on the open prairie, whereas SpongeBob's version yearns for, well, the comfort of living in a bristly old beard. I cannot relate. Between the soap opera spoofs and folk song parodies, Hog Huntin' shows that even in Jellyfish fields and barns, SpongeBob's world is never far from ours, or from its own past jokes. It turns out that Patrick Star sometimes needs a break, or so he decides in the episode Patrick's Stacation. Feeling overworked from his grueling routine of sleeping and snacking every day, probably just chilling at home in his rock playing Fortnite. This guy has no life. I love Patrick, but seriously, I've watched almost every episode of the show, and Patrick is one of the laziest characters ever. But yeah, despite being the laziest character ever, Patrick longs for a vacation, but he can't afford one. Going on vacation's really expensive. You gotta pay for your flight, you gotta book a hotel, it's pricey. So enter SpongeBob, ever the problem solver who comes up with the idea to give Patrick a luxury staycation right at home. As I always say, don't worry, I'm gonna get to the Easter egg soon, I just gotta explain all this, that way they make sense. Now eventually, we get a scene where Patrick plans his fake vacation, and it takes place at the Bikini Bottom travel agency, and it hides a fun visual reference.
So, you'd like a vacation?
Oh, great! Another thing for me to do.
Yes, he'd like a vacation.
It all depends on your budget.
On the travel agent's wall, SpongeBob and Patrick admire a framed photo of a fancy cruise ship. But this isn't just any old cruise, it actually foreshadows the very cruise ship that'll appear in this episode's sequel episode, Walking the Plankton. That's the same ship. Walking the Plankton's like the next episode after Patrick's Staycation, so this is an interesting Easter egg. It's not what we would normally cover, but it's interesting. In Walking the Plankton, Plankton lures Mr. Krabs onto a luxury ocean liner as part of a scheme, so the travel agency's glamorous cruise poster is effectively an Easter egg planting the idea. It's a clever bit of continuity between the back-to-back episodes, and it's something that SpongeBob's never really done before. There isn't usually continuity between episodes like this, so yeah, it's interesting. Our next episode is Cabin of Curiosities. On a dark and stormy night at Camp Coral, SpongeBob and Patrick stumble upon a creepy cabin filled with even creepier kid campers. In one of them is a familiar fiend from SpongeBob's past, or I guess his future, albeit in a pint-sized form. Cabin of Curiosities plays out like a kid-friendly horror homage, as our heroes meet a gang of monster kids in the woods.
You are either very brave
or very foolish to venture into this dark domain.
Foolish! Definitely foolish!
Jake?
Yes, we are.
Oh, no! My name is Predatori. That is my web. I spun it this morning.
The star of these odd campers is Kid Ferrazzu, who, as his punny name definitely implies, is the child version of the iconic SpongeBob character and just classic horror character in general, Nosferatu. It's crazy that Nosferatu is like literally like a canon SpongeBob character. Like, he's appeared on screen many times in the show. I mean, I guess this one technically isn't actually an Easter egg if Nosferatu is a regular character now. Camp Coral is a prequel show and shows a a lot of the characters' younger forms, so I guess it makes sense that we would see Nosferatu's kid form, but I do think that this overall is a cool little homage at the very least. In the episode Terror on Tape, the Star family spend a spooky day watching a collection of haunted VHS tapes, a collection that they got from the Flying Dutchman. Again, this is really cool, another example of them kind of building up the SpongeBob world and bringing it all together. Back in the day, if you guys remember, the Flying Dutchman was like a rare character. Like, it's not like he never appeared, but he didn't appear in every episode, and he wasn't a background character. If he did appear, he was a big part of the plot. So it's cool to see that he's just like a normal character in this episode. But anyways, this episode goes on to essentially be an anthology of mini horror spoofs, with each cursed take telling a different creepy tale, starring Patrick and his family. The episode crams in homages to famous horror tropes, and even a legendary sound effect, one that only sharp-eared and sharp-eyed fans will catch. During a chaotic scene, a hapless background fish falls overboard from the ship Fancy, and take a listen to what happens next.
We're off the menu!
If you've heard that little scream before, it's because it's a very iconic sound effect, the Wilhelm scream. This scream, a classic stock sound effect used in countless films since the 1950s, is a beloved inside joke among sound editors and movie buffs. And hearing it pop in Patrick's haunted tape is a treat for fans. But yeah, its appearance in Terror on Tape is both a cheeky nod to horror cinema and a self-aware gag about the rarity of that scream in the series. But let's keep it going, there's more. Each cursed tape Patrick watches is a send-up of a different horror genre, and the episode's artists take the opportunity to reference a beloved horror anthology film. Slayground is presented in a vivid, stylized color scheme that horror fans might find familiar. In fact, the color design of the Slayground, with its lurid reds, deep blues, and comic book style shading, is directly inspired by the 1982 horror comedy film Creepshow. Creepshow, directed by George Romero and written by Stephen King, used bold comic book panel visuals and dramatic lighting to emulate old EC horror comics. And Terror on the Tape lovingly imitates that look. In Slayground, when Patrick and Squidina explore a cursed playground, the frames occasionally freeze into drawn comic panels with saturated colors and eerie lighting, just as Creepshow did. And yeah, this is a really good episode, especially if you're a fan of like Halloween and horror. I know it isn't very fitting right now. Go give the episode a watch, it's a good one. Another spooky episode is Curse of the Were-Doodle. This Halloween special brings back one of SpongeBob's scariest creations, Doodlebob. But honestly, Doodlebob is one of my favorite characters. Like, he's awesome. Take a look at this funny clip from his original episode. But yeah, in this episode, Curse of the Were-Doodle, SpongeBob is bitten by Doodlebob, the wicked pencil-drawn duplicate of SpongeBob from Season 2's Frankendoodle, and this transforms him into a were-doodle. This happens whenever the moonlight hits, and it's essentially a werewolf-like doodle version of himself. Take a look at this clip. As a tribute to his pencil-drawn roots, the episode is overflowing with references to Frankendoodle, and even a recent Doodlebob cameo, making it a goldmine for fans of SpongeBob lore. Once SpongeBob's Were-Doodle side starts wreaking havoc, the homages come fast and furious. For example, take a look at the way the Were-Doodle repeatedly body slams Mr. Krabs in this scene right here. Dude, he's just like flinging the poor crab back and forth like a rag doll. But this is a direct visual callback to Doodlebob's infamous beatdown of Squidward in Frankendoodle. Doodleboy, stop! Did you guys catch that? As in that 2002 episode, Doodlebob pounced on Squidward and smashed him flat in the exact same manner. This has also happened before. If we go back to the episode Squiddy Box, Doodlebob does the exact same thing. Take a look. Yeah, really cool references here, guys, and there's more. Let's keep it rolling. As the Were-Doodle's next rampage moment is another scene ripped straight from Frankendoodle. As you guys just seen, the were-doodle took that long wooden beam and turned it into a pencil by chewing on it. And longtime fans will immediately recall Doodlebob's tactic in Frankendoodle, where he grabbed the magic pencil and did the exact same thing after it snapped, complete with the same frenzied sharpening sound effects. Seeing the were-doodle do this with an entire wooden post is a hilarious escalation of the reference. And the episode doesn't stop there. During the climax of the episode, during the chase, the were-doodle defeats Bubble Bass by drawing a quick hole on the ground, which results in this happening to Bubble Bass. Roll the clip. This trick is a carbon copy of Doodlebob's strategy from Frankendoodle, of course, where the villainous Doodle sketched a pit to trap SpongeBob and Patrick. In Curse of the Were-Doodle, the context has changed, with Bubble Bass being the unlucky victim this time. But the visual gag is an instant hole, complete with the scribbled edges and Bubble Bass's shocked expression as he drops through the hand-drawn void. This episode, Curse of the Were-Doodle, is very good. So many cool Easter eggs in it. In the episode, Pardon My Wand, another one from season 16, by the way, let me know what you guys think in the comments about season 16. I feel like there's been some really good episodes this season. But yeah, in this episode, SpongeBob comes into possession of a misplaced magician's wand. And of course, as you can imagine, SpongeBob doesn't give it back. He proceeds to cause absolute magical mayhem across Bikini Bottom, just like he does in this clip right here. Roll it.
Gary, did you redecorate the living room while I was out?
This episode is jam-packed with rapid-fire gags, as SpongeBob accidentally transforms and enchants everything in sight. And many of those gags are sly callbacks to SpongeBob's past antics. The first Easter egg appears on stage, including a very large snail with a bushy brown body. Longtime fans may recognize this creature as the elephant snail from the episode Don't Feed the Clowns, a one-off character from that episode. In that episode, the elephant snail was a circus animal that roared like an elephant and balanced on a beach ball. Well, Pardon My Wand brings the elephant snail back for an encore, making for a really cool Easter egg, as this character has not been seen since, and I don't think he's going to be seen again for a while after this. But yeah, as the episode continues, SpongeBob inadvertently casts a hiccup spell on himself, and this is where another Easter egg comes in. The uncontrollable hiccups SpongeBob makes throughout the scene might sound exactly like you've heard them before, and that's because the audio recordings of SpongeBob hiccups are literally reused from the episode Hiccup Plague. In Hiccup Plague from season 12, SpongeBob was afflicted with a citywide contagious hiccup outbreak, and Tom Kenny's ridiculous hiccup sounds in that episode were apparently so perfect that Pardon My Wand lifted them wholesale for this magic mission. Here's the Pardon My Wand version. And here's the Hiccup Plague version. And yeah, as you notice, they're like literally the exact same sound. Again, this might be a reference, but this might also just be the team being lazy. Tom Kenny is very old now, guys. He's aging, and honestly, if you even listen to his voice in the most recent SpongeBob movie, you can hear the age. So I imagine that they save certain sounds that he has to make so he doesn't have to redo them when he comes into the studio. That's just my theory, but who knows? As SpongeBob gleefully skips through town wielding the unruly wand, Pardon My Wand turns into a rapid montage of magical callbacks. For example, SpongeBob accidentally transforms a couple's boatmobile into a gigantic orange sea snake. If it seems familiar, it's because that very same slithery creature appeared in the season 14 episode Squiddiot Box, when Squidward's imagination turned against him. If we look at a side-by-side, I'd say that these two are the same snake. They're the same color, and yeah, I think it's the same character. But the surprises continue as SpongeBob prances past familiar locals. For example, he skips by the exact same bench from the episode Something Smells. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, I think they're the same. I mean, this old bench is drawn and placed exactly as it was in that season 2 episode, making it a little piece of SpongeBob history plunked into the background. Moments later, SpongeBob twirls past the ice cream parlor from the episode Hall Monitor. Here's another side-by-side, and it's definitely the same. And yeah, longtime viewers have seen this ice cream shop multiple times now. It's where SpongeBob caused mayhem as a hall monitor, and where Patrick got severe and comical sunburn back in the episode Sun Bleached. So its presence here further cements the idea that all these episodes share one connected lived-in world, a point that I've been pushing for the past couple of videos. Finally, Pardon My Wand caps off its reference parade with a brilliant deep cut. In the mayhem, SpongeBob accidentally shrinks Squidward, very similarly to the way he did back with Mermaid Man's belt. But yeah, this leaves Squidward tiny in his own garden. As if on cue, the same cockroach from the episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4 appears, towering over mini Squidward and proceeding to rough him up.
Huh? Why is everything all tiny?
This is a direct homage of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4 from season 3, making for another really cool reference. Mr. Krabs has quite the misadventure in the episode My Two Krabses from season 12. It all starts with Mr. Krabs sneaking in a tanning session without his shell in his office before a date with Mrs. Puff. It's crazy to think that these two have been like on and off dating since like season 2 or 3, but anyways, eventually SpongeBob walks in to deliver some ice cream, but instead of finding Mr. Krabs, he only finds this.
Mr. Krabs, are you okay? Speak to me.
We're gonna get into the Easter eggs, don't worry, but you guys need the context of the plot for them to make sense. But from here, SpongeBob literally assumes that Mr. Krabs has melted.
Oh, look at that. And right before his big date tonight. What a shame.
A date? Oh, must love die meltily in my arms too!
In a panic, SpongeBob and Patrick take the empty shell, determined to basically bring Mr. Krabs back to life, Frankenstein style. Meanwhile, the real and shellless Krabs realizes his shell is missing and rushes home to find something or anything to wear, really. And this is where we can find a really cool Easter egg. As he flings open his bedroom closet, and in this frantic scene, the show sneaks in a treasure from Mr. Krabs' past. I'm gonna play the clip and let's see if you guys can spot the Easter egg.
Okay, I knew that spare is in here somewhere. Aha!
Let me explain. So among the tossed outfits is this bright pink flower print cuddly crab uniform, and this is specifically from the episode Bossy Boots, a season 2 episode. Longtime fans will recall that in this episode, Mr. Krabs briefly transformed the Krusty Krab into the cutesy cuddly crab. Well, actually, it was more that Pearl did this. Mr. Krabs was kind of just forced to do it, and as you can see in this clip I'm about to play, they had to wear these exact same outfits.
Only a fool would wear that.
Avast, ye shipmates! Don't these just shiver your timbers?
Seeing this ridiculous attire resurface here, only to be deemed unwearable by Mr. Krabs, is a delightful Easter egg. It confirms that Mr. Krabs hung on to the old uniform, and it adds a layer of irony to his wardrobe scramble. But the closet gag doesn't stop there. Mr. Krabs also tosses out a chicken costume, the same one that SpongeBob once wore in the episode Cephalopod Lodge. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, I think that that's a reference. And we've got more. Let's head over to another episode. We've talked about SpongeBob in this video, we've also talked about Camp Coral, but let's talk about the Patrick Star Show, more specifically the episode Bummer Jobs. In this one, the Patrick Star Show delivers a flurry of SpongeBob callbacks. Just to give you guys some context of what this episode is about though, it's pretty much about Patrick and SpongeBob looking to get a job. Patrick wants to find his purpose in life, and this turns into him looking for a job. We see their struggle of going through different types of day jobs. For example, they work as grocery baggers at a grocery store and unfortunately get fired. From here, they look for another job. As they pick themselves up, still enthusiastic, they see an old lady struggling to paint her fence. Now, if we rewind back to the episode Idiot Box, there's this scene, and it's a very iconic one where SpongeBob uses his hands to draw a rainbow and says the word
imagination.
Well, this is referenced like 20 plus years later in Bummer Jobs, as when SpongeBob and Patrick go to help that old lady, he does a very similar gesture. I love this so much. You guys know I'm like a massive nerd when it comes to the Steven Hillenburg era. I always ramble on about it in these videos, so any reference to, you know, a season 1, 2, or 3 episode, especially Idiot Box, is gonna warm my heart. And we've got more. Who remembers the episode Sailor Mouth? We've talked about this one many times before, but in this episode, Patrick and SpongeBob learn to swear, and they're taught not to. But the main thing here, as you guys know already, is whenever SpongeBob characters swear in SpongeBob, they make this sound effect.
There are 13 bad words you should never use.
Don't you mean there are only 7?
Not if you're a sailor.
Wow, 13.
That's a lot of bad words.
Well, at one point in Bummer Jobs, listen to what the porpoise says, as it sounds very similar to bad word number 11.
Let me go, you little...
Hey, watch your language!
Did you hear that? It happens closer to the ending of the episode, and that is 100% a reference to Sailor Mouth. So that's 2 classic episodes referenced in one The Patrick Star Show episode. People like to talk smack about The Patrick Star Show, but this is really good. Like, this is a good sign that the writers actually are passionate and know what they're talking about. But yeah, I've got one more Easter egg from this episode, and it happens in this next scene. In a hilarious segment, Squidina rolls out a TV and says it's time for some noir sense.
While they take a break, let's all watch another hard-boiled episode of Noir Sense.
Suddenly, we're now in a black and white detective parody where Fred the Fish is being interrogated. And if you listen to what he says, it's a very clear reference to, I mean, his entire character. This is the whole point of Fred the Fish at this point in the show, is to scream the following. This is a brilliant send-up of the running gag, my leg, usually heard whenever Fred gets hurt in classic episodes. For example, here's like a couple of times in older episodes where we hear him say it. Here's a little compilation, a little montage.
My leg! My leg!
Thank you!
My leg! My leg!
It is crazy how many things they hide in these SpongeBob episodes, how many references there are to older episodes, and I love it. Our next episode is Call the Cops from season 11. This episode flips the script by putting SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs on the other side of the law. Plankton actually gets himself arrested after yet another failed formula theft, and the secret formula is locked up at the Bikini Bottom police station as evidence. To retrieve it, Mr. Krabs convinces SpongeBob to go undercover as police officers and infiltrate the station, a recipe for hilarious antics.
Have you got a license to sell these cookies?
Officer SquarePants, I don't think we ought to...
Let me handle this, Officer Mr. Krabs.
I don't have a license.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
As soon as they step into the station lobby, the background art delivers clever gags. For one, there's a framed photo of a donut on the wall, poking fun at the classic trope that cops love donuts, but right beside that is a wanted poster bearing a very familiar face, that of the Tattletale Strangler. I love references like this. Fans will remember this villain from SpongeBob Meets the Strangler, a legendary, iconic episode, and apparently the Bikini Bottom PD is still on the lookout for him. The fact that his wanted poster appears here is a continuity nod, as if the events of that episode have been filed in police records. And the station's back room holds another Easter egg for the observant. Pinned up on the wall is a wanted poster for another iconic SpongeBob villain. Roll the clip and I'll let you guys catch it.
You can interrogate the suspect.
I don't know how to interrogate.
Then just ask questions.
Come on, you guys gotta know this one. That's Dennis, the fearsome hitman from the original 2004 SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Name's Dennis. I've been hired to exterminate you.
Dennis's rugged mug is instantly recognizable, connecting the series to the first movie storyline even more. These background posters subtly expand the world building, implying that all of these notorious baddies share the same criminal universe. Really cool stuff. This next episode finally brings Gary the Snail to Camp Coral, and with him comes a barrel of references spanning the SpongeBob universe. In our next episode, Camper Gary, SpongeBob discovers his pet snail has stowed away at camp. Rather than send Gary home, SpongeBob disguises him as a new camper to keep him hidden from the staff, particularly from Mrs. Puff, who turns out to hate snails, which is kind of weird because she literally has a snail in the episode The Sponge Who Can Fly. Like, SpongeBob helps save her snail, so this is a little bit of a continuity error, but anyways, the premise of this episode alone parallels a classic SpongeBob plot. It's essentially the summer camp equivalent of My Pretty Seahorse, where SpongeBob hid his pet seahorse Mystery at the Krusty Krab. crab.
SpongeBob! Thanks for finally getting rid of that horse.
You're welcome, Mr. Krabs. It worked, girl. I'll just keep you back here until Patrick finishes that stable I asked him to build.
Years later, in Camper Gary, we see SpongeBob do something very similar to that scene from My Pretty Seahorse. As a matter of fact, the entire plot of this episode is very similar, which a lot of people think is a reference. Here's another Easter egg though. Of course, Gary eventually runs loose, and Mrs. Puff goes into full monster hunter mode, chasing the beast snail haunting the camp. She doesn't even realize that it's Gary and actually thinks that there's a real threat here. But in a very funny twist, during the chaos, Mrs. Puff offhandedly mentions the following line, and if you listen closely, this is a reference.
Mom always said I'd go out like this. Oh well, better than being dragged back to prison.
As you heard right there, Mrs. Puff refers to being dragged back to prison. And this is a reference to the fact that Mrs. Puff has gone to prison many times in original SpongeBob. For example, in No Free Ride, she goes to jail. So it's very in character that even years before original SpongeBob in the prequel show, she had already been to jail. It seems to be a running theme in her life. There are some more Easter eggs in this episode, and I'm gonna rapid fire them. They're really cool. For one, if you look closely in SpongeBob's bunk, there's this poster right here of Mermaid Man on the wall. We also see a jar of mayonnaise amongst SpongeBob and Patrick's belongings, perhaps a wink at the famous "is mayonnaise an instrument" joke, since what camper packs mayo for a trip? Only Patrick would do that, I mean, come on. And if you look closely right here, we can find canned bread again. We've talked about this in a previous Easter egg video, and if you guys remember back in the episode Squidville, okay, where Squidward moves to go and live in like a town where it's all people exactly like him, he finds one of his favorite things that he's always been looking for.
Canned bread! This town is great!
So yeah, this is a really cool Easter egg and shows that whoever wrote this episode knows their lore. This is like a deep cut of a reference, canned bread, really cool. Let's keep it moving though. In the episode Visiting Vikings, Patrick and SpongeBob celebrate Leif Erikson Day by embarking on a time-traveling journey to the actual Viking times. Courtesy of some of Patrick's style nonsense, they wind up in the era of real Vikings, complete with long beards and Norse helmets.
Who are you? We are from the future, where you are a fearsome Viking warrior. But it looks like we got here a little early. So I guess it's up to us to mold you from Meatball Boy into a real Viking warrior.
This zany premise is itself a deep cut reference. Leif Erikson Day has been mentioned in SpongeBob before, and this episode goes out of its way to honor that legacy. Early on, as Patrick gears up for the holiday, SpongeBob makes a special appearance wearing a traditional Viking helmet and a big red beard. It looks good on him, right? Like, what do you guys think? I think it looks good on him. But yeah, SpongeBob cheerfully exclaims, "Hinga dinga durgan." And you know what? Me saying it didn't do it justice. Play the clip of SpongeBob saying it.
Hi, SpongeBob, hi!
Happy Leif Erikson Day! Hinga dinga durgan.
Now, longtime fans should instantly recognize this costume and catchphrase from the classic Season 2 episode Bubble Buddy, as we get a very similar scene. This is 100% a reference. In Bubble Buddy's opening, SpongeBob wished everyone a happy Leif Erikson Day, and to do this he dresses up in a very specific outfit and says something very specific. Roll the footage.
Hey everybody, it's Leif Erikson Day! Hinga dinga durgan.
As you guys just seen, SpongeBob dresses up as a stereotypical Viking while uttering that same goofy Norwegian phrase, Hinga dinga durgan. This is another one that's connecting the universes, as this episode, Visiting Vikings, is technically a The Patrick Star Show episode, but what was just referenced is from old school SpongeBob, thus connecting the two shows even more. I know I keep on rambling on about that, but it's clear that like Nickelodeon is being very intentional about this. I might do a whole video just on this topic. Next up is the episode The Jellyfish Kid, and this is actually the very first episode of Camp Coral, a 3D animated SpongeBob spin-off that I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. I'm not the biggest fan of this show, I'm not gonna lie. I think the Patrick Star Show is much better, but you're not here for my opinion, you're here for Easter eggs, and there are some really cool references in this episode. For one, if we take a look at this scene and we pause at the right frame right here, we'll notice that there's this photo on Mr. Krabs' drawer. And if we zoom in, we'll see that it's him holding Pearl as a baby. Now, if this shot looks familiar, it's because this photo is a direct reference to an older SpongeBob episode. If we rewind all the way back to the episode Selling Out, we can find this exact same photo right here. Let's do a side by side. Yeah, this is a reference, and a really cool reference. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Camp Coral, but I love that this reference is here. But there's also more. One of my favorite episodes is the classic SpongeBob episode Sailor Mouth, where SpongeBob and Patrick come across swear words and they start swearing. Something they shouldn't do, you know, they shouldn't be swearing.
Hi, Squidward! How the are ya?
Nice day, isn't it, Squidward?
Every time they swear, though, it's referred to having a sailor's mouth. And this is also referenced in the Jellyfish Kid. In Camp Coral, it's basically like a summer camp, right? So every person has their own dorm. And in SpongeBob's dorm, we see this list of rules right here. And as you can see, one of the rules is no sailor mouth, making for another really cool reference. In the episode Tag Your It, it's a rainy day at Camp Coral, which means everybody can't really play outside. I mean, you could, but you're gonna get wet. It's better to avoid it. So everybody finds a way to entertain themselves indoors, specifically with a crazy game of tag. It's an all right episode, but what we're really here for, guys, you guys know what we're really here for, and it's Easter eggs. And the first one can be found during this scene where we see Sandy flush her helmet almost like it's a toilet or a drain. If that looks familiar, it's because this is another direct reference, okay? This is a direct reference to OG SpongeBob, specifically the episode Texas. In this episode, Sandy starts missing her home state of Texas, and she gets very emotional. We get a couple scenes of her crying, and in one scene, she has to empty out her water bowl. Roll the clip. This is kind of like a deep cut reference, and it's cool to see that the creators of Camp Coral also knew to include this type of stuff. And there's more in Tag Your It. I really like this one, but if we go to the point in the episode about 13 minutes in and 40 seconds, if we pause at the right frame, you'll notice that there's a jar of mayo on Patrick's shelf. And this is most likely a reference to him asking if mayonnaise is an instrument in Band Geeks. Patrick seems to have some sort of obsession with mayo, which is also why it might be there. But yeah, who knew that Camp Coral actually had some cool Easter eggs like this? In the season 16 episode Pigskin Pearl, Pearl Krabs joins her high school football team and unexpectedly becomes their new star player, leading Bikini Bottom High into a championship game. I personally really like episodes like this because they're not as focused on SpongeBob and are giving other characters a chance to shine, like Pearl. This has actually happened a couple of times now. Like, we had a whole episode Mall Girl Pearl, which was all about Pearl getting a job at the mall. I think SpongeBob only appears for like a second in that episode, and there's plenty of others, but this episode in particular celebrates Pearl's athletic prowess, while SpongeBob and Patrick enthusiastically cheer her on from the sidelines. As the game unfolds, the animators slip in nods to earlier SpongeBob adventures that eagle-eyed fans will definitely recognize. For instance, when Patrick scrambles up the towering bleachers to reach the announcer's booth, he suddenly dons a familiar getup, a Swiss mountaineer's outfit complete with an alpine hat and gear. Does this look familiar to you guys? Longtime viewers will remember Patrick wearing a nearly identical Swiss mountain climbing outfit back in the season 3 episode New Student Starfish, during this gag right here.
Come in, SpongeBob!
It seems the Pigskin Pearl team gave Patrick's old costume a bit of a redesign here, but the homage is definitely clear. Another fun reference comes via Pearl's fearsome opponents in the episode. I mean, just listen to this clip right here and listen to what they call the rival football team, like the team's name.
The New Kelp City Delinquents. Their entire team has been held back in school for decades.
As you just heard, the rival football team is called the New Kelp City Delinquents, a team name that in itself is an Easter egg. New Kelp City is a location introduced in the special SpongeBob episode Whatever Happened to SpongeBob, also known as Who Bob What Pants, which is actually a much cooler title. But yeah, this is the first time we heard of New Kelp City.
Citizens of New Kelp, come out of the shadows! 'cause Cheese Boy kicked the bubble-poppin' gang right out of town!
This is an historic day for New Kelp City. You have rid this city of the bubble-poppin' boys.
It's a rare location that is very rarely brought up, and originally was kind of exclusive to whatever happened to SpongeBob. The location was made just so that SpongeBob could go missing and end up in New Kelp City. So it's really cool to see it referenced in season 16 so many years later. This is like a deep cut. Also, by naming the rival football team after that city, the episode is like subtly connecting Pearl's high school sports story to SpongeBob's broader universe. And again, I've said this in the past couple of Easter egg videos, this is something Nickelodeon has been doing a ton in season 16. But yeah, let's keep it going. There's some more Easter eggs in this episode. So the climax of Pigskin Pearl delivers perhaps the most heartwarming one though. When Pearl is down and doubting herself, SpongeBob steps in to give her a confidence boost. And if you take a look at this clip, it's somewhat of a reference to an older SpongeBob episode.
You look nervous. I'm gonna share a special cheer with you. My grandma taught it to me. When days are tough and things go bad, grandmas help you not feel sad. Remember to just be you.
As you just seen, SpongeBob performs a sweet cheer that Grandma SquarePants taught him, advising Pearl to just be you when times are tough. Well, this entire scene mirrors an older scene from the episode Rock Bottom. Now, they're not identical, but it's more the fact of SpongeBob quoting something from his grandmother. Take a look at the clip and you'll see what I mean.
I guess Grandpa SquarePants was right. Don't run for a bus. Especially one that's going up at a 90-degree angle.
If you listen closely, SpongeBob does that same high-pitched voice that he did in Pigskin Pearl, showing that these two are a little bit of a reference. Either way, the fact that Grandma SquarePants was brought up in general is somewhat of a cool reference. She isn't in the show very often anymore and had a big appearance back in the episode Grandma's Kisses. She was actually a lot more present if you remember, like back in season 1, 2, and 3, so seeing her being referenced in season 16 is really cool. In Chatterbox Gary, SpongeBob acquires a pet translation collar that finally lets his beloved snail Gary speak his mind. Imagine getting one of these for your dog or for your cat or for your hamster. It'd be pretty cool.
Hello there, Papa Bob.
Now, we're gonna get into the Easter eggs. I know that's what you clicked on this video for, but I gotta give you guys the context. That way they make sense. SpongeBob excitedly shows off Gary's new voice to his friends. But when they visit Squidward's house, the real fun begins. Gary surprises Squidward by complimenting his interior decor, revealing that he's actually a really classy snail, you know? He's got a sophisticated sense of design, as Squidward puts it.
Come, Papa Bob. Let's get out of here before this bad taste rubs off on us.
Oh, gee, do you have to?
Don't be sad, Squidward. We'll be back soon.
From here, this is where we get to our first couple of Easter eggs, and they're really, really cool, as this leads to a gallery of in-jokes adorning Squidward's walls. And eagle-eyed fans can definitely spot some of these portraits here and the references that they're referring to. For example, this one right here of handsome Squidward, referencing Squidward's briefly beautified form from the episode The Two Faces of Squidward.
Squidward, you're even more handsome now!
If we keep it moving, in another framed piece, Squidward is shown grappling with a sea bear. And this one is a very specific reference. Like, I really like this one. This one's really cool. It kind of brought back some nostalgia for me, as if we rewind to the episode, the camping episode, where SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward all go camping. There's this scene where Squidward refuses to heed SpongeBob and Patrick's anti-sea bear precautions. And yeah, this happens.
No, like that.
Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, this is a really cool callback. If we head back to Squidward's gallery, there's even this painting of a very specific sculpture. It's right here, I'm circling it, and it's a reference to Squidward's sculpture from the episode Are You Happy Now? Again, here's a side-by-side, and yeah, this one's also really cool. And there's more, so let's keep it going. For example, this image right here references the episode Not Normal, specifically this scene, or how about this one? This one references the episode Gone. Here's a side-by-side with the episode Gone and the picture or the portrait, and as you can see, this is a reference, really cool. There's like 3 or 4 more, but I'll let you guys talk about them in the comments. What other portraits here are references to older SpongeBob episodes? To be honest, you shouldn't even be answering this because you should be sleeping, but if you aren't sleeping, it's okay. You can answer this one, but then go like right back to sleep. alright? Anyways though, the Easter eggs continue when Gary snoops in Squidward's closet. And guys, this is a big one, especially if you're an old school SpongeBob fan like me. I've been watching this show since I was a little kid, even during the Steven Hillenburg era, and this Easter egg really hit me in the heart. Who remembers the episode Band Geeks? In this one, Squidward's arch rival Squilliam shows up, and things get very competitive between Squidward and Squilliam, with it basically leading to Squidward having to form a band and perform at the Bubble Bowl. Well, take a look at this scene where Gary snoops through Squidward's closet.
Oh, tacky.
Hold on now.
You may have missed it, but look. Hanging inside is Squidward's marching band uniform from that episode, Band Geeks, complete with everything. Like here's a side-by-side, and this is a very clear reference. It's a blink and you'll miss it tribute to Squidward's triumphant Bubble Bowl performance, and it's pretty awesome. Altogether, Chatterbox Gary cleverly weaves these references into the scene, implying that Squidward has kept memories of his many adventures, from the good to the bad, and even the handsome. But let's keep it moving and head over to another episode. Our next episode is The Donut of Shame, a very short episode from season 5. This bite-sized episode opens with Patrick groggily waking up on SpongeBob's ceiling after what appears to have been a wild night of partying. Who knew that Patrick got so crazy, man? Like, dude was probably staying up all night eating ice cream.
Would you like another spot of tea, Ms. Nibsy? Oh, you would?
From here, Patrick notices SpongeBob still asleep, clutching a delicious-looking donut. A beautiful specimen of donuthood, as Patrick pretty much calls it. Ever impulsive, Patrick liberates the pastry from SpongeBob's hand and sneaks it home for himself. And this is where we can find some Easter eggs, or well, some references. The animators slip in a sweet nod to the show's early days. I'm gonna roll the clip and let's see if you guys can spot it.
A beautiful specimen of donuthood. A donut this nice deserves to be served on fine china.
If you didn't catch it, let me explain. Hanging on Patrick's wall is a framed picture of SpongeBob drawn in his season 1 art style. This is very important here. It's not a modern looking version of SpongeBob. At the time, this episode was from season 5, and he doesn't even look like his season 5 design. It's very clearly his season 1 design. This deliberate background detail contrasts with the episode's season 5 visuals, playfully reminding longtime fans of SpongeBob's classic look. Now, aside from that nostalgic little Easter egg, the Donut of Shame peppers in a couple of other fun touches. For example, the way Patrick awakens in this scene is a spoof of horror film tropes, mirroring a similar scene from Saw of all things. Here is a side-by-side, and what an interesting choice for a children's cartoon. But yeah, some cool little references in this episode and some facts, but let's keep it moving and head over to a different episode. Next up is the episode In Search of Camp Nudist. In this episode, SpongeBob and friends hear a rumor of a secret nudist camp in the woods. Yes, you read that right. So the group set off on a curious quest to find it. SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy tromp through the forest in search of the fabled Camp Nudist, while camp counselors Mr. Krabs and Squidward chase after them in a panic. I mean, they definitely don't want a bunch of kids stumbling onto naked campers, right? As the hike wears on, Squidward grows exhausted, and this is where we could find an Easter egg. In a dramatized moment, Squidward collapses and wheezes for Camp Master Krabs to go on without him, and what follows is a cheeky nod to SpongeBob's own theme song. Mr. Krabs shrugs and immediately marches ahead while whistling this. Roll the clip.
You'll have to go on without me.
Okay.
What? What? Wait, hey, don't leave me alone out here!
It's a blink and you'll miss it Easter egg that longtime viewers instantly recognize, as Mr. Krabs just sang the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song, or at least a very similar version of it. I'm gonna keep these clips short just because I don't want to get destroyed by copyright, but here's like 2 seconds of the SpongeBob theme.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
And if you listen here, Mr. Krabs plays pretty much the same thing. I'm gonna play it again. Here's like 2 seconds of that. Really cool, but let's head over to another episode. Just a little reminder that if you're still awake, you should be sleeping. And if you're still awake, you might as well grab your phone and subscribe to us. Please do it. I'm trying to hit 10K and we're really close. So if you enjoy my videos, I'd really appreciate it. At least I'm not like all those other crappy AI SpongeBob channels. I'm a real person. I'm gonna be doing my face reveal soon. This is my actual voice. Blah, 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 blah. There's no AI. All right, go and make AI do that, but I'll do it on camera soon to prove it. But make sure to subscribe, guys. I love love you, and back to the video with some more Easter eggs. So the continuity of SpongeBob's universe definitely gets like messed up a little bit in this next episode, Kitchen Sponge, or maybe it was fixed, depends on who you ask. In this Camp Coral episode, young SpongeBob volunteers to help Plankton, who runs the camp's mess hall, and the goal is for him to help Plankton improve his menu. Disaster strikes in a scene that is very similar to the show's very first episode, Help Wanted. Plankton's kitchen is overrun by a ravenous swarm of fish campers. A chaos that directly references the anchovy feeding frenzy from Help Wanted, the 1999 plot where the Krusty Krab was pretty much attacked by hungry anchovies. Here in Camp Coral, it's a fun reversal. Plankton experiences the same sardine-style stampede that Mr. Krabs once did, a really cool nod to SpongeBob's origin episode. Later, Plankton decides quantity is the answer and concocts an army of Krabby Patty creatures to serve everyone. And this is another reference, as these living patties are nearly identical to the patty monsters from another SpongeBob episode, Dreamhoppers. Here's a side-by-side, and it's not exact, but it's pretty close, and I think this is a reference. In fact, the concept of sentient Krabby Patties causing mischief first appeared in Dreamhoppers, and Kitchen Sponge brings it back, showing Plankton unleashing a legion of googly-eyed burgers. Now I'm hungry. All of this, though, is light compared to this episode's ending, which has a very big moment for SpongeBob continuity. One big debate at this time was how Sandy could have been a part of Camp Coral, right, which is a prequel series to SpongeBob, when there's an entire episode in season 1 of original SpongeBob showing how Sandy and SpongeBob met. And in that episode, it's very clear they've never met before.
So, what's your name?
Sandy?
Well, in the climax of Kitchen Sponge, when SpongeBob inadvertently invents the Krabby Patty's secret formula and nearly changes history, Sandy steps in by literally calling her future self. In a sci-fi twist, adult Sandy appears via video to her younger self, congratulating her on a successful plan to keep the formula out of Plankton's hands.
Affirmative, little cheeks. This is Big Cheeks, receiving you from the future. The formula burned out before Mr. Plankton could nab it. Now it can be safely rediscovered in the future. I knew sending you to Camp Coral was the right thing to do.
Okay, so this is important. That clip right here implies that Camp Coral exists in an alternate timeline, where Camp Coral is still canon and is still a prequel, but because it's in an alternate timeline, it explains how SpongeBob meets adult Sandy in the original SpongeBob show, but also already knew her back in Camp Coral. This is a very complicated one. I hope you guys got it, but yeah, it's really cool. By having future Sandy orchestrate the events, the show winks at viewers and suggests the following. The original series in Camp Coral now diverge into separate universes. It's pretty cool, but as you guys know, let's head over to another episode. One of the more underrated SpongeBob Season 1 episodes is Culture Shock, an episode all about Squidward organizing a talent show at the Krusty Krab. Near the end of this episode, after loads of terrible acts and performances, it is finally Squidward's turn to perform, and he entertains us with some iconic dance moves. Now, since this episode, Squidward has referenced his groovy moves a few times, but the most notable reference, in my opinion, was in the episode Pat Heart Squid, as when Squidward tries dancing to attract people, at one point, his moves are precisely what he does in Culture Shock, and guess what? In response, the audience throws tomatoes at him, just like they did in that episode. Poor Squidward. Here's a clip.
What the?
I will now bedazzle your dazzlers with interpretive dance.
That's not the worm. That's his tongue.
Oh, this is the tongue, and the whole thing is the worm. Run for your
in the Season 2 episode, Survival of the Idiots, SpongeBob and Patrick overhear a dream Sandy has about fighting two very popular Western criminals, Dirty Dan and Pinhead Larry, and eventually take on both personas as they play cowboys and bandits. Now this eventually results in both Pinhead Larry and Dirty Dan getting their butts absolutely handed to them, like they get their butts kicked and presumably killed, thus giving us these two gravestones with the names Pinhead Larry and Dirty Dan on them. Well, these gravestones are referenced in the episode Shopping List, as both can be seen during this scene, thus making for a heartwarming little Easter egg for all of the longtime fans like myself. Here's a clip with audio.
The first item on Mr. Krabs' list is hair from a Yeti crab?
Well, that hairy hermit dwells right here on this mountaintop.
Okay, SpongeBob, you can be Dirty Dan. I just want to be Patrick.
Let's get out of here before Sandy wakes up again!
Okay, so this next one could possibly be a coincidence, so let me know what your personal opinion is in the comments. We've heard Squidward jam out on his clarinet many times, and in the episode SquidBob Tentacle Plants, we hear him play a very specific tune. Well, this song seems to be referenced 2 seasons later in the episode No Pat for Hat, as when Squidward plays the clarinet, he plays the exact same track he performed in SquidBob Tentacle Pants, thus making for a possible Easter egg. They might have just reused the same clarinet track, but it also could have been a reference. We don't know for sure.
Good morning, Squidward. And isn't it a lovely morning? Why are you playing the clarinet on your way to work?
Imbeciles think that's entertainment? Well, brace yourselves for some true entertainment.
Patrick,
Yeah,
are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay, so our last Easter egg is admittedly a bit of a reach, but I always like to include one of these in these Easter egg videos. Plus, it would make sense if this was a reference. Pay attention though, as it's kind of complicated. In the episode Boating Buddies, we get a very rare occurrence, and that is Squidward attending Mrs. Puff's boating school. Throughout the show's 13 seasons, this episode is the only time that this has happened, and it seems that this one-time thing was referenced in the episode Ditching, as at one point, Patrick says that he doesn't need to attend boating school since Squidward calls in sick all the time. Now, considering that Squidward has literally only ever gone to boating school once in the episode Boating Buddies, I'd say that this was a direct reference to the episode. But hey, what do you guys think in the comments?
It's all that I have.
Well, you can have it again right after you complete boating school.
Boating school. Oh, well.
I'll be in boating school at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh, well, can't you just skip a day? Just call in sick. Always works for Squidward.
And tarnish my reputation for never missing one day of school? I couldn't.
Alright, get ready as our first Easter egg is quite the doozy. In the recently aired SpongeBob episode, Captain Pipsqueak, Plankton comes up with the ultimate plan to join the League of Evil, so that he can take over the world and, of course, steal the Krabby Patty secret formula. Well, in order to do this, Plankton has to do an addition, and during this scene, we see numerous villains from previous episodes show up for an addition as well, and boy oh boy does it make for an epic scene full of references. First up is Dennis from the first SpongeBob movie. Then there's this guy, a thug who steals the paddy wagon, also from the first movie, a prisoner from numerous modern SpongeBob episodes, Dr. Negative, Squidward's villain counterpart from the episode Mermaid Pants, really good episode by the way. There's also Madame Hagfish, the Earworm, Robot Mantis, Nosferatu, Gordon the Viking, Dorsal Dan, and my favorites, the Strangler from the episode Tattletale Strangler, and Doodle Bob from the episode Frankendoodle. That is like 12 to 13 references in one scene. Crazy. Here, let's take a look at all of them with audio.
Sign in and wait your turn.
Get out of the car, fellas!
Take all your money and put it in the bag.
No, Mr. Bob, I expect you to fry.
When the full moon rises.
I am the Strangler. I'm the Strangler.
To be or line?
Our first Easter egg can be found in the season 13 episode Uptown Girls, and is based around two characters first introduced in Camp Coral. These two are Ro and Rhea, Lady Upturn's two cabin roommates from, well, Camp Coral.
We're dead, Patrick. Do you know what that is?
It's $1. I win.
That's not just $1. It's Mr. Krabs' first dollar, his most prized possession, and we got paid on it.
Jelly, I want to go to the party.
Oh, shrimp.
And the episode, Appointment TV, has been covered many times on this channel, and that is due to it being full of Easter eggs. Like seriously, there is a good 5 to 10 Easter eggs in this episode, but today we're just going to focus on one. Back in the season 3 episode, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5, SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, Sandy, and Mermaid Man dress up as the IJSLA, and Sandy dresses up as Miss Appear and wears this costume. Well, she wears the exact same costume 8 seasons later in Appointment TV, thus making for an awesome callback or Easter egg. Here's a clip.
The IJLSA were the most heroic heroes ever. And you had the best lunchbox, too.
Once you put on these costumes, their fantastic powers will become yours.
And Miss Appear! Now you see her. Now you don't.
Does this outfit make me look fat?
The International Justice League of Super Acquaintances, a subsidiary of Viacom.
Thank you, everyone. I love the show.
As I just mentioned, SpongeBob Season 12 is absolutely filled to the brim with Easter eggs, and the episode Dreamhoppers is no exception. This is a bit of a different type of Easter egg though, as it isn't referencing an older episode, object, or character, but something from the show's history, something very important. Now, true SpongeBob fans already know this, but back before SpongeBob first aired in the late 90s, the show was originally going to be called SpongeBoy instead of SpongeBob, and his design was a little bit different. Well, during this scene, where we see a few flashing images on a TV, an image of SpongeBoy is visible for a split second, thus giving us a nostalgic callback to the show's origins. Really cool, and here's a clip.
SpongeBob, SpongeBob, SpongeBoy, ahoy! Ah ha ha ha! Ah ha ha ha!
So back in the Season 1 episode, The Chaperone, it is time for the annual Bikini Bottom High School prom, and Pearl is very excited to be taken out by her crush and date, and I believe it's even her boyfriend at the time, Octavius Rex, aka Mr. Long, Tan, and Handsome. However, this meanie ends up standing up Pearl, thus resulting in her going with SpongeBob instead, a much better date in my opinion anyways. Don't worry though, Pearl gets her revenge later on in the episode, when she rejects Octavius's offer to dance and chooses to dance with SpongeBob instead. Now since this episode, Octavius has pretty much gone missing from the series, but this all changed in the episode The Goofy Newbie, as during this scene, he makes his return, with it being revealed that he now works at Goofy Goobers and hasn't really accomplished much in his life since. But hey, that's what he deserves for standing up our girl Pearl. Here's a clip.
You look ridiculous!
What is it?
Get down! Yes! It's my ex-boyfriend, Octavius Rex, aka Long, Tan, and Handsome.
Meep.
Whoa.
Get Ma's pizza topping! Can't you see I'm doing the sponge?
Yeah, but the rule is only on the first break. And for lunch. And on the second break. And for dinner.
Wow! Ice cream all day!
One of the more iconic characters in SpongeBob history is Squilliam Fancyson, a rude, arrogant, and disrespectful squid who is Squidward's longtime rival since high school. He made numerous appearances in the show's first few seasons, always teasing or bullying Squidward, but since season 4, his appearances have become very limited, like we rarely see this snobby squid anymore. Well, in the season 10 episode, The Checkup, he finally makes his return to the series, in the form of an Easter egg, as he's in one of the many photos framed on the X-ray photo booth. Hopefully he can make a physical appearance soon, maybe in season 13 or 14, that'd be pretty cool. But for now, this was an awesome little cameo.
What are you doing here? I just wanted to watch you blow it. So, where's your band?
They couldn't come. They died.
Then who's that? That would be my band! Oh, Shrimp! It's my arch rival from high school, Squilliam Fancyson! I can't let him see me in my crusty crab uniform. On your lunch break, Squiddy? Yes, hey, what you been up to?
Well, I am very photogenic. Let's see. How do you start this thing? Oh, here we go. It's kinda hot in here.
In the episode Wet Painters, SpongeBob and Patrick are tasked by Mr. Krabs to clean the inside, or well, paint the inside of Mr. Krabs' house. at the cost of their behinds if anything other than the wall gets painted on. Well, spoiler alert, something other than the wall does get painted on, and that's Mr. Krabs' iconic first ever dollar. Now in the end, everything works out when we find out that the paint can just be removed with a little bit of saliva. Plot twist. But after this episode, Mr. Krabs' first dollar has kind of gone missing. We haven't really seen it since. It has appeared a few times, but not much. That is, until the episode Bottle Burglars. As in this episode, the dollar is one of the objects that SpongeBob cleans on cleaning day. He actually ruins it. He scrubs it so hard that it turns into a quarter and then a penny before it completely disappears. But don't worry, SpongeBob just replaces it with a random $1 bill from his pocket, and Mr. Krabs never even notices. But talk about a cool Easter egg. Here's a clip of the Easter egg with audio.
And without getting a drop of paint on anything but the flappin' flotsam, what's that? We're dead, Patrick. Do you know what that is? Aw, Mr. Krabs' first dollar. How many what?
Don't forget to clean the safe, boys.
Something absolutely terrible happens in the season 4 episode, All That Glitters. SpongeBob breaks his favorite spatula. And as you can imagine, this really ruins SpongeBob's day. Don't worry though, at the very end of the episode, we get this hilarious scene of SpongeBob being reunited with his old friend, and the episode ends with everything back to normal. Now the Easter egg in question can be found during this scene, and it has to do with everyone's favorite incidental. For now, let's just focus on one. In the episode, I Had an Accident, SpongeBob becomes depressed after a sandboarding accident and begins to just hide in his room all the time, refusing to leave. Now to combat this, at one point, Sandy gets Patrick to attack her while wearing an ape suit, in the hopes of luring SpongeBob out of his house. And this is actually directly referenced in SpongeBob's big birthday blowout. as during the meeting scene, we can see these ape masks directly referencing Patrick dressing up as an ape in I Had an Accident. Talk about an awesome Easter egg that references my favorite era, the Steven Hillenburg era of SpongeBob.
Hey, Sandy, who's your friend?
But you're supposed to be in the gorilla suit.
I am in the gorilla suit. I thought I was doing a pretty good job.
Then who's that? A real gorilla?
Huh?
Let's watch their strange rituals.
He's coming!
The season 10 episode, SpongeBob's Place, has a good plot, but I think the biggest thing this episode is known for is all of the wild Easter eggs. Now, I'm not going to cover this scene, which has like 8+ Easter eggs all in one shot, like holy cow, as we've covered it quite a few times already, but I did find another one, and it's spicy. Remember the nasty patty that SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs prepared in the season 3 episode of the same name? Yeah, well, it appears again for the first time in a long time during this scene. There are some slight differences, but this was definitely a throwback to season 3, and I absolutely adore it. Here's a clip.
Why, that's the most diabolical Krabby Patty ever spawned.
I call it the nasty patty.
Hey, hurry up with that patty.
Here you are, sir. Enjoy.
Ah, hello, delicious.
I see the problem! SpongeBob's not in the kitchen!
I don't know why, but it's bad.
Back in the season 2 episode, I'm with Stupid, we learned a little bit about Patrick Star's family. More specifically, Herb and Margie, two people that were revealed to be Patrick's biological parents, his mother and father. Now, since this iconic episode, I love I'm with Stupid, by the way, really good episode, both characters have been retconned and replaced by Bunny and Sissel via the Patrick Star show. But let's just forget about that for a second. Let's just forget that even happened. Now, as I said, back in the early days of the show, Herb and Margie were Patrick's parents, with their only appearance being at the ending of I'm with Stupid. However, this all changed in the episode Rule of Dumb, as during this scene, we get the reappearance of both Herb and Margie after years of being absent, thus making for a really cool reference to season 2. Hey, I wonder if these two will ever reappear again. Maybe they could make it so the Patrick Star show takes place in an alternate timeline. They did it for Camp Coral with Sandy, so I don't know. Anyways, here's a clip.
What I hold in my hands is a family tree that goes back centuries. It starts with the marriage of King Amoeba and Queen Mildew, then through a few inbred generations, ends at you, Sir Patrick.
The next Easter egg on this list comes from the season 5 episode, To Love a Patty. This episode focuses on SpongeBob falling in love with a Krabby Patty. SpongeBob is so in love with this Krabby Patty that he saves the burger from being eaten. But take a look at the person who is about to eat the Krabby Patty. Does he look familiar so I hope to see it again in the future.
There must be something to this selling game that we're just not getting. Other people do it. I mean, look at that.
Eat barnacle chips. They're delicious.
They are most certainly not delicious. Yet they sell millions of bags a day.
Well, maybe if they didn't stretch the truth, they wouldn't sell as many.
That's it, Patrick.
Our Easter egg can be found in the episode Gary and Spot, and it references a classic episode from season 2, that being the episode Dumped. In this episode, SpongeBob gets his little heart broken when his pet snail, Gary, wants to spend more time with Patrick than himself. So, to try and make little Gary jealous, SpongeBob gets a new pet snail named Larry, who is not only a lot uglier, but a lot meaner too. Like, this snail just sucks. At one point, SpongeBob lets him sleep in his own bed, and he just ruins his bed. Now, since the episode Dumped, Larry has pretty much disappeared from the series, but he did pop up recently in the form of an Easter egg, as when Gary frees all of the creatures from the animal shelter in the episode Gary and Spot, Larry is one of them, thus making for a fun little callback to the show's second season, one of my favorite seasons. Here's a clip with audio.
Come on, let me show you around. Larry, I present to you dinner time. Ta-da! Bon appetit, Larry. That's where I...
Our next Easter egg, or well, I guess Easter eggs, are hidden in the fairly recent season 13 episode, Say Ah. Now, there have been hundreds of incidentals introduced over the years, and this can sometimes result in older ones being discontinued. But
It is after class!
Fight! 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 Fight!
I don't see anyone fighting, do you?
April Fools, you little sausage!
Pretty Patties is now under new management! Who's next?
okay, so I know we already talked about this episode today, but let's head back over to Captain Pipsqueak for a second. Now, when we first mentioned this episode, I went over all of its cool references to past episodes, but I did leave one out, and this is due to it not being from a SpongeBob episode, but from a SpongeBob video game, and that's this blue little dude known as Prawn. Prawn made his first appearance in the SpongeBob video game, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Really good game that I'm actually going to be streaming on the channel soon. But yeah, it's really cool to see Prawn make his way over to the actual TV show. I wonder though, does this mean that SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is now canon? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm curious.
Prawn!
Did someone call?
Oh, I thought maybe I was looking at superheroes. But now I see it's just a couple of pieces of gnarled driftwood.
Prawn! I'll never forgive you, you madman!
What did Prawn do?
The worst thing you can imagine. He put all of Mermaid Man's white clothes in the washer with a red sock.
Everything I own turned pink! Pink!
What is this?
One of my favorite SpongeBob episodes is Season 1's Bubble Stand, where SpongeBob and Patrick do their best to introduce Squidward to blowing bubbles. Squidward really struggles at first, and boy is it hilarious to watch. But the episode's best moment, in my opinion, is when SpongeBob rotates his body to demonstrate and repeats the sentence, "Bring it around town." I mean, come on, if you're a longtime fan, then you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. It's iconic. Well, in the opening of the episode Mimic Madness, this iconic scene is referenced, thus making for a really cool Easter egg. SpongeBob does the exact same thing and even says, "Bring it around town." So yeah, really cool Easter egg. Here's a clip.
Stop on your right foot, don't forget it! Now it's time to bring it around town. Bring it around town. Then you do this.
Our first Easter egg can be found in the episode Bottle Burglars, and it references the iconic Season 2 episode Frankendoodle. In this episode, SpongeBob and Squidward accidentally let Plankton slip away with the coveted Krabby Patty secret formula. So, as you can imagine, the episode is primarily focused on the not-so-dynamic duo trying to retrieve it. Well, spoiler alert, they do, and the episode has a happy ending. But if we watch closely when Squidward turns on the Krusty Krab security footage, a drawing of Doodle Bob can be seen on the bottom of the table, referencing both Frankendoodle and Doodle Dimension. I have always loved Doodle Bob, so this Easter egg is awesome. Here's a clip with audio.
And when Squidward answers the door, it won't be me! Aw, look at him. Ain't he a doll? All he needs is a tie. Ready for action!
Quack! 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 Come on. Now let's see if the security cameras picked anything up.
Hi, I'd like to order half a Krabby Patty, please.
Now our last Easter egg is a bit of a reach, I'll be honest, but hear me out, okay? In the episode Squeaky Boots, Mr. Krabs begins to freak out when he can't escape the sound of, well, squeaking. This drives our favorite crab crazy and gives us this scene where Mr. Krabs turns blue and begins to hear and see the word squeak everywhere. He has a total meltdown. Well, this scene seems to be directly referenced in the episode Plankton's Paranoia, with this scene even using the exact same music, just this time, instead of Mr. Krabs freaking out about hearing or seeing the word squeaks, he's tripping out over Plankton. Again, a bit of a reach with this one, but it uses the same music.
What's that? I didn't write that! Who said that? What's that?
Our first Easter egg can be found in the episode Whelk Attack, and it's pretty cool, as it references one of my favorite older SpongeBob episodes, Suds. In this episode, a herd of large sea whelks invade Bikini Bottom, causing all sorts of problems. Why are they invading, you may ask? Well, it turns out that the whelks are sick, as explained by Sandy near the end of the episode. Now, during this scene, SpongeBob compares the whelks' sick kisses. I mean, I highly doubt that Grandma SquarePants left the same food out for 5 years. That would be pretty gross, so this was probably a reference. Here's a clip.
Hi, Grandma!
Come in and sit for a while. Have a cookie, SpongeBob. I baked a fresh batch of gingerbread men.
But where's Blackjack?
Oh, Blackjack just called and left a message for you. He couldn't make it because he's got some loose ends to tie up.
Loose ends? My parents! He's tied them up!
And if you don't hurry, you'll miss out on all the fun.
As a lot of our longtime viewers know, Season 1's Pizza Delivery is one of my favorite, all-time favorite episodes, with it being all about SpongeBob and Squidward going on a little pizza delivery adventure, and doing everything they can to get this box of pizza to its destination. Now, I don't know if the Krusty Krab still serves pizza to this day, but it is possible, considering that a Krusty Krab pizza box did pop up in a recent episode as an Easter egg. It's easy to miss, but in the episode Plankton Gets the Boot, a Krusty Krab pizza can be seen in SpongeBob's house, when he and Plankton are watching a movie in the living room. Pretty cool, huh? Now, you probably can notice there are a bunch of other Easter eggs in the shot, but I'm gonna leave you guys to find them, so leave a comment. What other Easter eggs are in this shot? Anyways though, here's that clip.
Ahoy there, Krusty Krab, how can I help you? Pizza? Of course we have pizza. Squid will bring it right over.
Mr. Krabs, we don't serve pizza.
Many unbearable hours later.
Oh, my love. What a fool I've been. You've always been the only one for me.
Our first Easter egg revolves around some familiar fish we've seen before. In the Season 6 episode, Krabby Road, Plankton creates an entire band just to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula. Now, it's a good episode with some great moments, and if we watch closely during the episode's opening, we can spot an interesting Season 3 Easter egg. In the episode No Weenies Allowed, SpongeBob struggles to get into a new bar called the Salty Spittoon, due to it only accepting the toughest of the toughest fish. SpongeBob is forced to wait in line with some of these tough fish, but this isn't the last time we've seen them. In the opening of the Season 6 episode Krabby Road, they make their return, thus making for a fun little Season 3 reference. They're in jail now, so I wonder what they did, but yeah, here's a clip.
You need to have muscles. You need to have muscles on your muscles. You need to have muscles on your eyeballs.
Ew.
Looks like a rip-snorting good time, SpongeBob.
Yeah, let's go in.
And this is the maximum security level. Since this is your first day, I'll let you peek at our #1 inmate. He's too dangerous to let him around the other inmates.
Our last Easter egg can be found in the episode Boating Buddies. In this episode, instead of the typical SpongeBob boating school episode, is all about Squidward attending boating school after getting a ticket. As you can imagine, this was all SpongeBob's fault, of course. But luckily for him, SpongeBob decides to help out, eventually leading us to this scene where Squidward does his driving exam. For a few frames, the rare incidental character Granny appears, thus making her first appearance since her debut episode, Have You Seen This Snail?
Just let go of it!
Hooligans! There you are, Miss Tuftsy. Oh, Grandma finally found you.
Sheldon Plankton is quite the inventor, with the innocent yet evil little guy creating all sorts of gadgets, weapons, and robots that are all usually used for one-off appearances in episodes. But there has been one invention of his that has popped up multiple times, and that's Robot Plankton. Making his first appearance in the second SpongeBob movie, the robot has appeared twice, with the most recent appearance being in the episode Plankton Retires. The design is pretty much identical, so I would personally say that this was an intentional Easter egg by the art team. Who knows though? Here's a clip.
Me bunions are telling me it's time to stop gloating. Huh? Looks like you're falling apart at the seams. Huh?
For me, sub,
a robot!
Victory dance, booyah.
How would you be doing that when you're all the way over here in Dullsville,
Because I'm a decoy look-alike robot! Gotcha!
So what I miss?
The episode SpongeBob's Last Stand is all about SpongeBob and Patrick protesting the demolition of their favorite Bikini Bottom location, Jellyfish Fields. Now at one point, we see a parade celebrating the construction of the Shelly Superhighway. And if you're a true SpongeBob fan, you'll notice that the band of the parade is wearing the exact same outfits as Squidward's band in Band Geeks, thus making for another interesting little Easter egg. I love these season 1, 2, or 3 callbacks. They're the best. Here's a clip.
They couldn't come. They died. Then who's that? That would be my band!
We're ready to perform, Squidward.
Well, Squiddy, this is exactly how I pictured your band would look. That's his eager face.
In the episode Whatever Happened to SpongeBob, SpongeBob develops amnesia after running away from Bikini Bottom and eventually finds himself in New Kelp City. This place is very similar to New York, and believe it or not, SpongeBob actually becomes mayor of this place. However, due to him having amnesia and forgetting his name, he goes by a new name, that being Mayor Cheesehead Brownpants. Well, this is actually referenced in the season 7 episode One Course Meal, when Plankton literally refers to SpongeBob as Cheesehead. Here's a clip.
For this, I appoint you Mayor of New Kelp City!
Hi, Plankton. What you doing laying in the middle of the road?
Go away, Cheesehead! Can't you see I'm trying to get run over? In fact, better yet, just step on me as hard as you can. Would you do that for me?
As most of you know, Squidward is an artist, so it's no surprise that one of his old paintings is referenced in Season 6. The painting in particular are his 483 self-portraits, first seen in the episode Gone, and they appear when SpongeBob is having tea with Squidward in the episode Not Normal. Another reference can be found as SpongeBob and Patrick are belly sliding through town. As they go off a ramped truck, Oyster Stadium can be seen for the first time in a while as they are falling. Here's a clip of both references or Easter eggs with audio.
I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but please come in, SpongeBob.
Thank you. Tell me, what are you doing cooped up in here when the weather outside is so normal?
Well, today is dusting day, the day I dust my 483 self-portraits.
Wow, that's something you don't see in the average house.
Squidward! Have you seen Gary? He's gone missing! Squidward? Not a sign of Squidward anywhere. Squidward? You up here?
Mommy, what are those things?
Those are undesirables, honey.
We've seen plenty of board games in the SpongeBob universe, whether it's Sailor Mouths, Eels in Escalators, or Patrick the Game from Season 9. But one of my favorites is the Flying Dutchman's Treasure Hunt from the Season 1 episode, Arg. This game nearly drives Mr. Krabs insane That was until the season 6 episode, Toy Store of Doom, as at one point, SpongeBob takes the Flying Dutchman's Treasure Hunt board game out of a chest and asks Patrick if he wants to play it, only for him to decline it like everything else SpongeBob suggests. Pretty cool, huh? Really cool. I love Easter eggs like this. Here's a clip.
Patrick, 8 gold doubloons.
Wait, I saw it first! Yeah! Mine! Huh?
Boy, Mr. Krabs, you sure are sweaty.
What's this? Where are the doubloons?
It's a game! The Flying Dutchman's Treasure Hunt.
Looks like you've shanghaied me.
My turn. 5. One of your shipmates has been a bad pirate. Send him to the brig.
I guess we could play something. How about a yo?
No.
Yo. Buried treasure board game?
No.
The next episode we'll be talking about today actually features 2 Easter eggs, so let's just skip the plot summary and get right to the good stuff. The first is a SpongeBob's Last Stand reference, with this Save the Jellyfish sign being shown in the pile of rubble. Another reference is this ukulele, as it's most likely a reference to the ukulele used by SpongeBob in the episode Fun, which is another reference to an older SpongeBob episode. I love those. Here's a clip.
Chum bucket, sludge bucket, highway flyaway. Lily liver, pizza giver, mashed potato, kelp tomato. All we are trying to say is give Jellyfish fields a chance.
I can't take it much longer. I hope he's not in any pain, wherever he is.
I think he's doing just fine.
Mr. Krabs, you gotta get up. We gotta get out of here.
Oh. Okay, T-Boy, I think I'm good.
Remember to drink plenty of fluids.
Look, SpongeBob, you see all this stuff?
One of my favorite classic or iconic SpongeBob episodes is Season 3's Krusty Krab training video, an episode that parodies fast food training videos from the 90s and does a very good job at doing so. Now, as a kid, I absolutely loved this episode, so I was really happy when it got referenced in the episode Appointment TV. In this episode, a rare episode of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy is going to air on TV, and SpongeBob wants to record it. So at one point in the episode, we see him set up his VHS to record, and he looks at his tape collection to tape over a tape and record the show. And it seems that one of these tapes is the Krusty Krab training video, thus making for a really heartwarming and cool Easter egg. Here's a clip with audio.
All that's left is to set the VCR to record, so I can relive the magic over and over forever. But which tape to use? Don't have any blank ones left. Oh, here we go. Who needs a tape of their own birth anyway?
To keep up with today's demanding customers, no expense has been spared to acquire all the latest achievements in fast food technology.
This here is an advanced patty control mechanism. Here you can see our automated money handling system. Don't touch.
The character, Flats the Flounder, made multiple appearances in early seasons of SpongeBob. For example, Sandy's Rocket, Texas, but most notably The Bully, where he plays a major role, where he pretty much wants to kick SpongeBob's butt throughout the entire episode, just for sitting beside him and saying, "Hey, poor SpongeBob." Now, since The Bully, he hasn't had very many appearances. He has appeared a few times, but it has been fairly limited. That was until the episode Don't Feed the Clowns, as he's actually a customer of the bakery who gets knocked out by getting hit with a pie thrown by Incidental C1. Talk about a cool reference. It's nice to see Flats the Flounder back in action again, especially in a more recent episode.
Flats is from a town where kicking someone's butt means that he wants to be your friend. And maybe play some sports with you on weekends.
I got diarrhea.
In the Season 6 episode, The Krabby Chronicle, we get a cameo from a longtime fan favorite character that had been absent for some time. Now, back in Season 3, we got the iconic episode, Nasty Patty, an episode all about Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob nearly killing an innocent health inspector. Now, this health inspector is named Health Inspector Yellowtail Andy, and after missing for a few seasons, he made his much welcomed return in the episode The Krabby Chronicle. During this scene where he closes down the chum bucket after seeing an ad in the newspaper revealing that the food is legitimately made with chum. Ew. He even puts a giant out of business sticker on the chum bucket to really push the point. Fun fact, this episode is also where the health inspector's last name was first revealed to be Yellowtail. Pretty cool, huh? Oh, and also just saying, the character has made other appearances since the Krabby Chronicle, but this episode was his first reappearance in years. Here's a clip of the Easter egg with audio.
Hey, this guy's not a zombie. He's just an ordinary health inspector.
Yes, and at the risk of being hit again, I'd like to present you with this.
Hey, Mr. Krabs, look! We passed the inspection!
Hooray! Come on, everybody! Krabby Patties at half price! Well, not really.
Oh boy, I'd like a Krabby Patty.
The chum stick that's finally gonna drive Krabs out of business!
I think not. I'm Health Inspector Yellowtail. I'm officially closing down your restaurant. That's not what this says.
Plankton's chum made of your chums? The chum bucket serves your friends in more ways than one? What? Who's to blame for this? Who?
Another classic SpongeBob episode that I loved as a kid was Season 2's Sandy, SpongeBob, and the Worm. This episode was pretty darn epic, with SpongeBob and Sandy teaming up and going on an adventure to find the Alaskan bullworm that has been terrorizing Bikini Bottom. Now in the end, they succeed and manage to lunge the thing off of a cliff, and for a while, it seemed Fred sprinkles salt over his leg, then SpongeBob rings a bell, and the Alaskan bullworm slithers over to Fred. Pretty cool, huh? Here's a clip. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems that Nickelodeon really turned up the Easter eggs in Season 12, as there are so many. One episode that comes to mind is Lighthouse Louie. In this episode, SpongeBob finds himself stuck cleaning Mrs. Puff's boating school lighthouse, which is full of a bunch of junk seen over the years throughout the show's history. Now, during this scene, where SpongeBob falls into a pile of trash, we get a close-up look at one of these pieces of junk. I'm talking about this familiar-looking pizza box that I'm sure all of you recognize. That's right, this is yet another reference to one of my all-time favorite SpongeBob episodes, Season 1's Pizza Delivery. You know, I've always wondered if the Krusty Krab is still serving pizza, and hey, this pretty much confirms it. Here's a question though. Which toppings would you get on your Krusty Krab pizza? Let me know in the comments. Anyways though, here's a clip of the Easter egg.
That box is haunted! Oh my God, these stairs are haunted! This trash is haunted!
Krusty Krab, yeah, pizza is the pizza, yeah, for you and me.
In the episode, Krusty Catering, we're introduced to a new business scheme by Mr. Krabs, a catering service where SpongeBob, Squidward, and even Patrick cater food at parties and look after kids. Now at the ending of this episode, it's presumed that Mr. Krabs has ended the services and goes back to just running the Krusty Krab. However, it seems the business is still going, including the truck, as in the episode Plankton retires, there's a scene where Mr. Krabs claims he's off to go and make a delivery, and a patty falls out of the Krusty catering truck, not only giving us a really cool Easter egg, but also confirmation that the business is still operating, even in season 12, so yeah, really cool.
I cannot believe I let you talk me into this.
I'm off to make a delivery.
That fool.
In the iconic Season 2 episode Sailor Mouth, SpongeBob and Patrick learn some new, spicy, sentence-enhancing swear words from a dumpster outside of the Krusty Krab. And though they're told by Mr. Krabs not to use these bad words, which none of you should use either by the way, they eventually ignore the old man and get themselves into some trouble. Well, Patrick gets SpongeBob into trouble when he goes to snitch on him. Before all of this happens though, we're given this iconic scene, like this scene is iconic, where SpongeBob and Patrick play a board game called Eels and Escalators, a parody of the classic game Snakes and Ladders, and it makes for a really funny scene. Well, 10 seasons later, in the episode Bubble Bass's Tab, I think it's a season 12 episode, this board game, Eels and Escalators, is referenced, with it appearing on SpongeBob's internal shelf of games. As you guys know, I'm a major fan of the Steven Hillenburg era of SpongeBob, so I loved this little nod.
Now, let's play a nice wholesome game of Eels and Escalators.
Oh boy, my favorite!
Come on, Gary needs a new pair of shoes!
Ooh, eels! Too bad, SpongeBob, you gotta ride the eel.
Darn.
My turn! Hooray! Escalators! Up!
You'll have to play the 3 deadly challenges.
Oh, the 3 deadly challenges! I got this game! Where is it? Game of Strife, Shoots and Bladders. Oh, here it is! The 3 deadly challenges!
Board game. Whoopee.
Okay, and last but not least, our final Easter egg, or secret, can be found in the episode Patrick's Alley, which I will admit is a bit of a cheat since it's from the Patrick Star Show and not SpongeBob, but who cares, it's still really cool. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of SpongeBob incidental characters. Season 2. There aren't a whole lot of images of him, but this was definitely a really neat return of a highly requested incidental. Everyone wanted to see this guy back, so it's really cool.
Patrick!
Okay, so listen up, as this next Easter egg is a little complex. In SpongeBob, every episode has a production code, and sometimes these production codes will be hidden in episodes as Easter eggs. So, as you can imagine, this is exactly the case in the episode Food PBFFT Truck, as one of the signs at the Rock Bottom Mall reads SB138, which is actually a reference to the production code of the Season 1 episode Rock Bottom, which makes sense because it's in the Rock Bottom Mall. So yeah, it's very subtle, but boy, is it cool to see such an iconic episode referenced in the modern day. Here's a clip.
Maybe the Rock Bottom Mall? Where is everybody?
The circus should be good for crowds.
Maybe it's a flea circus.
It's still warm.
SpongeBob has many villains, for example, the often misunderstood Plankton. But the best villains are the supervillains, seen in the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes. For example, the Dirty Bubble. But one that is usually forgotten is Jumbo Shrimp. Well, in the Patrick Star Show episode, X Marks the Pot, he makes a small cameo, with him being seen all beaten up in a mugshot. Now, by the way, I will say, this section was actually written before Captain Pipsqueak came out, so I know that he has a major role in that episode, but before that episode, this was one of his biggest cameos. So yeah, an Easter egg. Here's a clip.
I want to take your picture. Would you care to peruse my portfolio?
Oh, I'd love to. Would you look at that? Isn't it cute? Oh my, so artistic, girl. Oh, you simply must take a portrait of my whole family.
Our next Easter egg can be found in the season 13 episode Upturn Girls, an episode we've admittedly talked about a lot recently, but only because the episode is full of spicy Easter eggs. Now, the Easter egg in question has to do with this obscure SpongeBob villain, the Atomic Flounder. This supervillain was formerly an enemy of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and made his first appearance in the season 1 episode, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2, as an old retired version of himself that gets attacked by SpongeBob. Now, since season 1, the character has barely been seen, let alone mentioned. That is, until the episode Upturn Girls, as when Pearl and Narlene first arrive at Upturns, the exact same old retired version of the Atomic Flounder makes his first appearance in 20 plus years, making for a really cool little reference. Here's a clip.
And Barnacle Boy laid an egg. Hey!
That fellow over there used to be the Atomic Flounder. He could go back to crime, just like that.
Help! Help! Help somebody there! You're under arrest, Atomic Flounder!
Stop, kid! Stop!
This is my favorite department store and like the heart of the big city.
Our first Easter egg can be found in the season 13 episode Upturn Girls. I know we've covered it a lot recently, but this Easter egg is really cool and new. But it is a little complicated, so pay attention. In the episode Squeaky Boots, it's Pearl's birthday. So we learn about flipper slippers, new shoes that are a bit of a fad amongst teenagers, and seem to be especially popular with young girls. Pearl wanted these for her birthday, she doesn't get them, but all of her friends wear them, and we know that Pearl really likes these and really likes shoes. Well, it seems that these shoes are referenced in the episode Upturn Girls, as when Pearl and Narlene enter the shoe area, there is a poster on the wall for what seems to be new, updated, or evolved versions of the shoes. I know this for sure because at one angle, we can see at the bottom that the shoes are by Flipper, and like I said, the shoes that they're referencing are called flipper slippers. So, definitely a really cool Easter egg here. Whoever wrote this episode, this is a really cool one. Here's a clip.
What is it, Daddy? It wouldn't be those totally hip new flipper slippers all my friends are wearing, would it? Everyone wants them.
It might be.
Don't forget my new flipper slippers, Daddy.
Darling, I won't.
Attention, Upturn shoppers. There's a sale in the shoe department. 10th floor.
No way, so many shows!
Huh?
The character Lady Upturn was first introduced in the episode Krusty Catering, and has been quite the reoccurring character ever since, with her even being included in the SpongeBob spin-off Camp Coral, with a major role. Well, the episode Upturn Girls, an episode we already talked about today, gave Lady Upturn's character even more personality, with Lady Upturn getting her own luxury shop called Upturns. And this is where we can find our last Easter egg, as if we watch closely during this scene, we can see that an extremely rare incidental makes their first appearance in nearly 20 years, that being the female collector, who made her last appearance in the Season 3 episode, One Krabs Trash, where she wants to buy the soda drinking hat for Mr. Krabs. Talk about a long-lost character.
I'm prepared to give you $500 for that drink hat.
Not so fast. I'll give you $1,000 for such a hat.
Okay, so this next one is a bit of a deep cut, so get ready, as what the episode references is very subtle. I didn't even realize it at first. In the episode Ghost Host, the Flying Dutchman realizes that he's lost his scary mojo. So to try and sharpen his skills, he tries to scare both SpongeBob and Squidward. It doesn't go very well, but during one of his attempts to scare SpongeBob, he transforms into this big red bug thing. And honestly, since this episode, we haven't really seen it since, but it seems that this exact transformation is referenced in the episode Ink Lemonade, as during this scene, where Squidward first enters the creepy nursery, there is a picture of this exact same big red bug that the Flying Dutchman turned into on the wall, thus making for, like I said, a really deep cut in terms of Easter eggs. Like, the Flying Dutchman transforms 50+ times in Ghost Host, so it's interesting that they chose this one to reference in particular. But anyways, here's a clip with audio.
Not creepy nursery rhyme music!
The episode, 20,000 Patties Under the Sea, has an Easter egg in its title. For those who may not know, the title is a reference to a Julie Verne novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That's not the only Easter egg present in this episode, though. The con man from the episode Chocolate with Nuts is back again, and he cons SpongeBob and Patrick once more. Now after he cons SpongeBob and Patrick, he says, "Hey, thanks again guys." This means he remembers the characters from the last time he conned them. Patrick panicking to get the dollar clean. Now since then, Mr. Krabs' first dollar has made a few cameos, but my favorite is in the episode Whale Watching. It happens fast, but as you can see right here, the dollar is one of the many things destroyed by Pearl's explosive crime. Very, very cool. Here's a clip of the Easter egg with audio.
We're dead, Patrick. Do you know what that is?
It's $1! I win!
That's not just $1. It's Mr. Krabs' first dollar, his most prized possession, and we got paid on it.
I want to go to the party!
Oh, shrimp.
Many of our longtime viewers know one of my top 3 favorite SpongeBob episodes is Season 1's Pizza Delivery. In this episode, Mr. Krabs gets a call for a late-night pizza delivery order, and despite the Krusty Krab literally being a burger restaurant and not a pizza place, Mr. Krabs still takes the order and turns some Krabby Patties into a pizza. Now, considering how iconic this episode is, I was not surprised when I caught this little Easter egg in the Season 12 special, SpongeBob's Birthday Blowout, as during the live action scene where Plankton's voiceover artist is thrown out of the trusty slab, a Krusty Krab pizza box can be seen in the pile of garbage. That's pretty cool. I love classic references that reference the Steven Hillenburg era of SpongeBob. It was the best time. Here's a clip.
Mr. Krabs, we don't serve pizza. We don't deliver.
We don't deliver, but you do.
Sorry, Potty, you'll have to hold it. Come on.
Easy for you to say, right?
Oh, excuse me, sir. Pardon me.
Ooh, that was delicious. I love surface food.
And last, but certainly not least, our final Easter egg can be found in the episode SpongeBob's Last Stand. But for it to actually make sense, we have to go back to the episode Chum Bucket Supreme. In this episode, Plankton hires on Patrick as an advertising director. I don't know why he picked Patrick, but he hires him on to do the advertising for the Chum Bucket. And Patrick comes up with this slogan, Chum is Fum, as a way to give the Chum Bucket some identity, I guess. Well, this is directly referenced a few seasons later in the episode SpongeBob's Last Stand, as the Chum Bucket slogan, Chum is Fum, is seen on a billboard. Again, another really cool Easter egg.
Jellyfish feels a chance. Plankton's eye, ham on rye, Larry's thigh, battle cry.
You're supposed to be coming up with witty catchphrases to keep that rabble out there happy. Chum is Fum. We've kind of got that one already.
Oh, I like that one!
Oh well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
We have seen many superheroes and supervillains throughout SpongeBob, mainly due to there being so many Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes. I love them, some of my favorite episodes. A lot of them have stuck around, for example the Dirty Bubble or Man Ray, but there have been a lot that have just disappeared. One often forgotten supervillain is the evil Jumbo Shrimp, who made his first appearance in Season 1's Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2. Since his debut, he's made a few more appearances, but they've been far and few apart. That is, until the Season 11 episode, Squid Noir, as Jumbo Shrimp appears as a poster and an action figure in near mint comic books. And the Suburban Dad figurine throws the action figure at Mermaid Man's action figure during their fight. It's pretty cool. Here's a clip with audio.
Fighting a rogue's gallery of villains, like the Sinister Slug, the Atomic Flounder, and the dreaded Jumbo Shrimp.
I'm so glad you could make it.
I wouldn't miss this for the world, Dirty.
The most powerful of all crustaceans.
It's Jumbo Shrimp!
Our next mistake can be found in the episode Suction Cup Symphony. This episode is all about Squidward writing his very own symphony. Now during this scene, just as Squidward finally finishes writing his song, he has the same look on his face that he had in the episode Squid's Day Off, during the scene where he locked himself inside his house. Oh, also, it isn't necessarily an Easter egg, I guess, But the fish playing the piano in this episode is actually the same fish that SpongeBob sits next to at Reef Cinema in the episode Something Smells.
I did it! Mwah! Yes! There. Now I'll have to stay here and enjoy myself. I'm not even gonna think about you-know-who at the you-know-what doing I don't care.
Hi. I am very ugly, but you should enjoy the movie anyway.
Some of my favorite episodes of SpongeBob are the superhero-themed ones, where we get to see Mermaid Man, Barnacle Boy, and even some villains like the Dirty Bubble or Man Ray get into some action. Now in the Season 3 episode, Mermaid Man vs. Barnacle Boy 5, we were introduced to the Chief, the head of the International Justice League of Super Acquaintances. This guy pretty much sends Mermaid Man, Barnacle Boy, and the rest of the IJLSA on missions. And though his role was pretty important in earlier seasons, the character has not been seen very often since. Well, that all changed in the episode Swamp Mates, as not only does the Chief make his long-awaited return on the screen in the Mermalayer, but he also appears at the end of the episode as well. They even got the same original actor from Season 3, which is like 20 years ago, to reprise his role, thus making the Easter egg even more awesome. Here are a bunch of clips.
Super acquaintances, we need your help.
Holy halibut, it's the Chief!
Thank you for the introduction, Quickster, but we all know who I am. More to the point, we've got news on the whereabouts of Evil. Our sources last saw Evil harassing teenagers up at Makeout Reef. You know, Makeout Reef?
Flop and flounder, Mermaid Man. Makeout Reef.
Those fiends!
Heroes! It's the Chief! Wonderwell isn't late. She's been kidnapped by the nefarious ne'er-do-well, hoodoo guru, the voodoo villain!
Woohoo! This completes my collection!
So I will admit, this last one could be a coincidence, so let me know what you think personally in the comments. But yeah, I'm like 90% sure this is an Easter egg, but let's get into it. In the episode, The Inside Job, there is a scene where SpongeBob uses dish cleaning items to make a Krabby Patty, and in response, Plankton asks if soap is the special sauce. Like an Easter egg, if you ask me.
Oh, now where are those patties? Oh, no, no, Ah, there you are, Patty. Add one fluffy bun, like so, and a squirt of special sauce.
Special sauce. Wait, soap is their special sauce?
How's this? Oops, can't forget the salad dressing.
So who here is familiar with this character? This character is named Granny, and she along with Miss Grusselpuss are both pretty rare in terms of incidentals. They don't show up very often. Well, they make a slight cameo in the episode Grandma's Secret Recipe, as both characters appear while SpongeBob and Great Grandma are knitting. This isn't necessarily the most mind-blowing Easter egg or cameo, I'll admit, but hey, it's pretty cool.
What I meant to say was, more please.
Knitting circles sure are fun, eh, Grammy Ma?
Nope.
Why are you not having fun?
Why? Because I don't knit, you nitwit!
Are you sure? 'Cause you make a real nice scarf.
In the episode Nasty Patty, another classic SpongeBob episode, this episode is a banger, SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs are confronted by a health inspector who wants to try everything on the menu to see if everything is up to the health code. This guy's name is Health Inspector Yellowtail Andy, and to be honest, we haven't seen him much since this episode. He has appeared a few other times, but he's usually a different color, but recently, in the episode A Place for Pets in season 13, he made a big return, and he looks how he used to look, the way he looks in Nasty Patty. This was a really cool reference, and it's awesome to see such an iconic character return to the show, even though it was a fairly minor cameo. But anyways, here's a clip of both appearances with audio.
Try the crunchy kelp dog, sir.
The buttered barnacles are a touch of heaven.
The powdered driftwood is exquisite.
Fresh sludge pudding.
Or a diet red tie.
Some fried Please, gentlemen. Oh no, the health inspector!
Oh yes, the health inspector. And I'm afraid you can't run a restaurant and a feedlot out of the same building. It's unsanitary.
One of my favorite SpongeBob characters of all time is Man Ray, one of the many supervillains that Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy have had to deal with over the years. Now, back in the episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3, there is a scene in the Mermalair where we're introduced to Man Ray's Power Glove, a weapon of his that was stolen by his superhero foes. However, he steals it back. Now, though this item might feel insignificant, it was actually referenced a few seasons later in the episode Back to the Past, as Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy show SpongeBob and Patrick Man Ray's Power Glove, which is locked in the Locker of Memories. They then reconfirm that it was once owned by Man Ray, but after freezing him in tartar sauce, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy took it, which is also a reference, as this explains why Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy had it in Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3. A really cool Easter egg. I really like this one. Here's a clip.
We're not supposed to touch that stuff. We're not supposed to touch that either. We are really not supposed to touch those, sir. Good people have no use for weapons such as...
Oh, the magic claw from episode 1582. Man Ray's Power Glove.